15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Can run the 40 faster than Tom Brady. He got a perfect score on the Wonderlic. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
I don't understand the backlash to Aaron Rodgers on this one. Hey, good morning, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio. Aaron's quirky dude, and he talks about a lot of weird stuff, but Perloff, him being back on the practice field yesterday for the New York Jets has created like this wave of backlash where people are losing their minds. How could he be out there? The coaches should save him from himself. Guys, medical science advances in ways that we don't understand, but we get that it happens, right? Like microfracture surgery used to be a death knell. Guys used to never come back from 2 Tommy John surgeries and pitch well like Nathan Eovaldi just did in the World Series. The advancements happen, and that could be what we're watching. Why are people so offended by this and outraged?
Because it fits a pattern of Aaron Rodgers where Aaron Rodgers comes first and the team comes second. Because what does Aaron Rodgers returning in late December do for the Jets? Name one single positive aspect for Jets fans out of this?
Okay, but what would it matter if he's actually ready to come back?
Yes.
And he can protect himself and he's not putting himself in harm's way, okay? And he's said that over and over again. I'm not coming back until I can protect myself. He's not out there saying, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to be totally vulnerable and exposed and I'm being reckless. He's saying, I've got to protect myself. And if I can do that, why wouldn't he come back? And what's the boost? The boost is he basically just changed the timeline for every single athlete moving forward. Like,
and they all play for the
part?
Jets? What's it do for the Jets? First of all, you think you step on that MetLife field, I don't care if you're a player or a photographer, you're at Achilles injury. Stepping on that turf, which is a disaster. It is one of the bubbling stories. It's not just a bad turf. It's where he tore his Achilles, where Phillips tore his Achilles last week. It's terrible. There's no way he's not at risk. Like, common sense says 3 months after an Achilles injury to play NFL football. It's not some pitcher coming off 2 Tommy Johns, which probably won't work either, by the way.
It just did. Nathan Eovaldi just won the World Series.
I'm just saying, this doesn't help the Jets at all logistically. There's nothing to gain here. There's no way they're making the playoffs. So this is just about Aaron Rodgers, making something noteworthy for Aaron Rodgers. And you can't help but think, I don't care what Aaron Rodgers says, long term, this cannot be a smart move health-wise.
Okay. So let's take the football side of it for a second. I can make a football argument that getting some reps, live game reps with guys on the field at the end of the season could carry over to the next season, but I'm not even going to go there because it's Aaron Rodgers and who cares? And the Jets, that'll be next season, and no one wants to talk about the Jets. But the thing about Rodgers is you have an opportunity here where you are maybe one of the most now famous athletes we have. You are getting some of the best care that we have in this country. You've got an entire organization is basically now being propped up by you. Who's putting Rodgers in harm's way? You don't think this has to get signed off by every medical doctor, all of the trainers, all of the therapists? This guy isn't out here going rogue like he's in the middle of a cabin in the woods recovering from his own injury. He's being watched, scrutinized, the rehab every second, every moment that he's doing this. You think all these medical professionals would tell him to get back out there if he was at risk?
You think Aaron Rodgers listens to medical professionals? That's his thing. He doesn't listen to medical professionals.
This isn't the vaccine, okay?
No,
this is different.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to talk to all those medical professionals and say, is there any risk? So you're saying you think it's 100% safe for Aaron Rodgers to get out there after an Achilles injury 3.5 months ago. I don't care what kind of surgery they did. I don't care what kind of rehab they did. I just will never buy that.
Okay. First of all, there's a risk with anyone coming back from surgery, whether it's an expedited timeline or whether it's, the actual, like the longer timeline. But this doctor, like Neil Elitrosh, if you are a real sports fan and you're like into it, or it's your job, like for you and I, we've known this guy, Neil Elitrosh, is like Dr. James Andrews. These are one of these famous doctors. Why is he putting his reputation on the line at all for Rodgers to come back? Like, if he really didn't think, and all these medical people and all of the rehab people didn't think it was a good idea, wouldn't they stop him? Of course they would.
I don't think all the medical people think it's a good idea. Have you talked to all of them? I haven't even heard Neil Elitrosh say this is a good idea. I think that there is still some controversy about who's driving this. Is Rodgers is pushing it too far? But I don't care about what do I care about medical science or 6 months return or 3 month return and helping other athletes? What does any of that have to do? This is NFL football. It's not the NBA. Winning is sacred here. Like, you really want to support your team. Aaron Rodgers, they have so much invested in him that they basically need to win with this guy. And how does this help them win? You can't tell me, and you said it doesn't matter if it's 3 months after the injury or a year after the injury, he could re-injure it. It's got to be safer a year after it than 3 months.
It's football. Like, again, this is...
You don't think there's a healing process?
No matter when. I'm sure there is, but here's the thing about the healing process. Like, we've had changes in medical science where we used to think a certain thing and now we think another thing, right? And that's for sports injuries, that's for other types of surgeries. Like, regular people like you and me, we can understand this. The medical science advances. So now if Rodgers, like, everyone's assuming this is going to be some doomsday scenario. What if it's not? That he's just pushed this forward in a way that guys used to take a year to come back from an ACL, and now they take 8 months.
Yeah, but a guy would never come back from an ACL in this situation. It'd be insane. There's nothing to play for here.
Okay, so the nothing to play for, though, that's a little beauty in the eye of the beholder. Like, what? Because if you feel like you want to get some continuity at the end of the season, or you want to come back to show, hey, I'm going to be back sooner, I'm going to come back at full strength, like, That's to me like a personal decision. What do we care? What do you care if he comes back for the last game for the Jets?
Because it's an injury risk. Honestly, it's insane. Well, what I care because I think he's going to get hurt, and then he's not going to be available for next year again. That's
okay, but that's just your...
And if I'm a Jets fan, that's exactly how I think because I've been watching the Jets.
Okay, right. We'll take all the Jets history out of this, but that's just a fear you have. And if the medical doctors and all of his specialists who he's working with don't have that same fear and they clear him, who are we to say that he can't get out there and do it? We
are no one to say that, but again, to quote Jeff Goldblum, is anyone going to stop and ask why? Why?
Chaos theory?
What is the point? What is one positive thing that comes? You really think getting a little chemistry with Alan Lazard, who's not going to be on the... Actually, is he out? But whatever scrub receivers they have is going to make a difference for next year. Do you honestly think two games here at the end of the season? And by the way, we haven't seen him on the field yet. I also think that there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers says, "Oh, I could have come back. I did prove that I'm the fastest rehab, but then not play." That sounds like an Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah.
But regardless, the NFL is all about, it's one sport where team comes first, and this feels like a me move.
Oh, see, I think that Rodgers gets accused of being me first. I can't argue with that. However, you have a guy who's now made it his full-time job to push the envelope on rehab to try to get himself back on the field. That also, in a different lens, could be looked at as being incredibly admirable and being very team first, because he's showing you he's been around the team. He still cares about the vibe of the team. I'll tell you what, flip side, Von Miller got hurt, never saw him. I don't know if he was in the back, still sending positive message to these guys. I know I saw him doing a podcast. I definitely saw that. But I didn't see him still trying to keep the vibe and the chemistry and all of that stuff, which is what you want these veteran leaders.
In really quality football there for the Jets, having Aaron Rodgers out there.
I'm just saying,
the problem is the history of Aaron Rodgers, where he's made choices that help Aaron Rodgers. It feels like this is a victory tour for the Packers. Yesterday it was like, we told you, this guy is about Aaron Rodgers. He's not about the team. And this fits that pattern.
Oh, I think that it can be looked at as being a very selfless thing.
Yeah, okay.
No,
You really think Aaron Rodgers is thinking about, this is really going to help the Jets? You don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to say, I showed these people that I could get back faster. I did this. Not, this is going to help us. There's no us here.
At every single turn on all those McAfee appearances, what's the first thing he does? He thanks the doctors and the trainers at the Jets. He has trainers in California. He's got trainers in New York. He's always heaping praise on them. And I think that he's just saying, like, look, I'm pushing myself to show you that I can come back and to show you, yes, that like I'm so in on this team. I'm not just going to go sit in Malibu and let the Jets just totally trip over themselves and have another bad season. I'm still super invested in this. What is selfish about that?
Because everything that he's done for this team has ended up with losing football. I mean, you followed the narrative. Actually, you even said it. Like, oh my God, they didn't get a quarterback because Aaron Rodgers didn't want anybody else in the building.
And that's the organization's fault, definitely. But if he was really putting himself at risk, then I think somebody would step in. This is a different thing. This isn't ego. This is medical science.
Put yourself in a Jets fan's shoes right now.
Yes, I know. EJ's already called me and said I'm bugging in the chat. Like, I can't see it.
Are you up or down on the Jets? I mean, honestly, I can't believe you would be more down on this team because they haven't won in forever, but this has got to be a downgrade.
What do you mean? What's the difference?
Like, I just think if you're like, I have Jets fans that are like, oh crap, we're never going to be a good team
Rodgers
again.
is coming back.
Yeah, I know
what
exactly.
More does he have to prove?
Yes, he's walking on to the MetLife Field 3.5 months after Achilles. He's a madman. He's going to get hurt. He's absolutely going to get hurt.
This is what they said about Galileo. Whenever you're the first person to do something, you're going to take the slings and arrows.
He did 4 plays on that turf, and honestly, he got hurt on 2 of them. I mean, that's 50% of his snaps in MetLife Field as a Jets quarterback have ended up in some form of injury.
Listen, that's a ferocious Bills pass rush. Don't mess around.
I would honestly, who won that game? Yeah. I would honestly.
Exactly. The Jets just gives you a reason, right?
I would honestly get out of that whole state. This is never going to work with Aaron Rodgers. I felt burned because I was high on them coming into the season. I bought the hype. It's just hype. There is no way this experiment ever works with Aaron Rodgers.
So in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio, which is something you're going to want to bookmark, by the way, because we told you about our show announcement. We'll get back to that in a minute. But I love this because Maggie's karaoke pants, which are the pants I split in a very exuberant song by Janis Joplin that I once sang, and then walked home not knowing my pants were split, said, do you not think Rodgers handpicked his quote-unquote medical professionals? Like, these are the people who are telling him what he wants to hear. Listen, yes, but these are also people with their own reputations on the line. These are also people who are not just going to, like, what medical professional, they take a Hippocratic oath, doctors do, I shall do no harm. Like, if you really think that Aaron Rodgers is going to put himself in harm's way, a doctor would say, don't do this. Don't do this. I don't think Neil Elitrosh is telling him not to do it. If he did, I don't think Rodgers would be out there.
Actually, have you heard from Neil Elitrosh lately? He's done like 17 surgeries. He's a surgeon. He's not even, I don't even think he's with Rodgers anymore. He's in L.A. Yeah. So regardless, that's all fine and good, but we all know what's going to happen here. This is football. We've seen enough football to know this isn't baseball. This is the men hitting each other at full speed on horrible, horrible turf. He's putting himself in harm's way. If he was perfectly healthy, I would almost say sit him for the season anyway. Why are you putting your quarterback out there in a meaningless game in Week 18? They would probably sit him in Week 18 in a normal circumstance, right? He wouldn't be out there. Tim Boyle would be starting. Even if Rodgers was healthy and they were out of the playoffs, you don't start your starter in Week 18. Why? Because what's the risk? What's the point of risking injury?
No, I get it, but it's like...
And they almost shut Rodgers down last year in Green Bay. He said, all right, I'll sit down as soon as the season's over.
So Cam Akers came back after what, 4.5 months? And that was crazy.
5.5 months.
5.5 months. Okay. Cam. So it used to be a year. It was always a year was Achilles surgery. Then Cam Akers came back in 5.5 months.
Yeah, that worked out great.
I'm just saying, he was able to get out on the field and he was able to play.
Yeah, until he...
and don't ask me about what Cam Akers' career has done since then, but let's just go with it.
We were just talking about he tore his other Achilles.
Oh, right.
So he's done for life, basically. And I don't think there's got to be a connection. Like the fact that he came out, his career has never been the same.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? You had a guy who pushed the envelope, and this is how it happens incrementally. And I think there could be a way, and there is like a world where medical science improves and the Achilles is no longer a year-long injury.
Okay.
And Aaron Rodgers just might be the first guy to prove this. Now,
but did anybody lionize Cam Akers for coming back so quickly? I never heard one say, wow, look at what all that Cam Akers has done for sports. Like, he wasn't a hero. He was a guy who couldn't even stay on the team. Everyone thought he was a knucklehead. Well, he was the best running back of the Rams But apparently he did so many things wrong that they never wanted to play him, and then they cut him.
Okay, well, the running back position has been devalued. The quarterback position has not. And that's why Rodgers is getting all this attention. And he's Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time MVP. He should get this kind of attention.
Right, but yeah, nobody cares if Cam Akers comes back. That's fine. You're a dispensable piece. You're a running back. Aaron Rodgers is the future. Do not risk the future on nothing, on meaningless games that have no impact whatsoever on what he's going to be next year. That's the thing. If you're the Jets, you got to protect this precious gem. You finally have a real quarterback. Do not let him get out there and get hurt again. Otherwise, what are they next year? Who's going to be quarterback? You know, Rodgers won't let them sign anyone else.
Listen,
so if he gets hurt, they're dead.
You live in fear. You're never going to make progress.
Yeah, if you're the New York Jets, you're never going to make progress.
No.
EJ, just a single
there's
tear
something
rolls
fundamentally
down the
bad.
cheek.
Will you admit there's something
And
fundamentally rotten with that franchise right now? It's not. It can't
Right
be.
now, I
it can't
mean,
be bad luck.
This is
Since 2011 or whatever. They just
the
make
vibes are better now. Probably. Well,
again. No, there just
listen,
seems to be something
you
wrong
whiff
with the
on
way
the number
they're.
2 overall pick. It's really hard for the organization to recover. And I guess, like, to their credit, Aaron Rodgers, they made it an appealing place for Aaron Rodgers to come. So they are trying to save it. 855-212-4CBS. Let you Jets fans weigh in. You think I'm crazy?
I do.
It's medical science, dude. It
What
advances.
She's a
My
Bills fan,
question-
EJ. Don't fall for this sucker. No
This
Jets
is,
fan
this
can
is
be
not
into this.
for my fandom has nothing to do with this.
My question to you, Maggie, is you talk about Rodgers potentially being the first to do this and to push medical science.
Right.
What are the odds that that person who's going to push medical science to this degree is going to be a 40-year-old who's dealt with other injuries? I think that that's the part of this that I think is even more concerning than some of the other stuff is that if he was 25 years old, this would be crazy. We'd say, you know what? He's young.
Right.
He's spry. Maybe he can recover from this. I've heard Rodgers say essentially he knows this is the end of the road, so he's like, why not push it? Like that to me is the thing that makes less sense. If you're older, you should be actually taking the more safer precautions.
I get that, except for look at the other person who has defied age in the NFL. It was Brady. And what did Brady always say? I felt better at 40 than I did at 25 because I knew more about my body. I knew more about recovery. I'm so much smarter from the shoulder, from the neck up, that I have a better sense of who I am and what my body's actually capable of than I did at 25 years old. So I agree with you. It sounds like a 25-year-old would recover easier than a 40-year-old. Like, no duh, Maggie. But at the same time, I've seen now, because I know Brady might be an outlier, but I've seen, and Drew Brees, but I've seen guys at 40 who can take better care of their body than guys at 25.
Oh, my God.
What?
I mean, we saw
That is a stretch. First of all, that stretch is so severe that you would pull an Achilles trying
No, what are you talking about?
That's right. Of course, you're much healthier. Basic science, your muscles get harder and harder as you get older, and that's why you can't recover.
Pliability, man.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying you're right. You're right. I want to sign a 43-year-old quarterback because I can't trust my 22-year-old to stay healthy. When you're 22, you can run into a wall at full speed and just get right up.
It's easy to say this, by the way, when she's got Josh Allen, who's literally a tank running through linebackers.
And by the way, wait till that guy gets to 35. He's going to get hurt 7 times a year.
It's not about Josh. This is not about the Bills.
You
This
just
is
said
about,
that
you guys are
you know
poo-pooing
your
Aaron
body-
Rodgers when you don't know. Because what if he can come back and he can be fine? And then he's advanced medical science. And then your next favorite football player, when they get hurt in week 1, maybe they are coming back for a playoff run when that was never a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Never a thing.
Yeah, because football fans cannot think about the general state of athletes' health. You have to think about your team.
Okay, well, what if the same thing happened with like Lamar Jackson next year or Joe Burrow or someone like that? If they get hurt in week 1, now that's not like if they tear their Achilles in week 1 like Rodgers, maybe they're coming back for a playoff
how does that
push.
How does that help the Jets? What do the Jets fans care if Lamar Jackson comes back from an Achilles injury?
I'm just saying Rodgers is getting vilified.
Yes, because
when
he's hurting his own team,
Well,
and
when
that's the
he-
thing on Aaron Rodgers.
But he might be pushing this entire thing forward. And honestly, it's between him and the team. Like,
oh, come on.
you have no stake in this. EJ does. Pete does a little bit.
But
Not so sure about Ryan.
I don't know how he's hurting his own team.
Because
The
he's
guy is
risking
coming back-
major injury for a meaningless
But
game
the
to
guy-
glorify Aaron Rodgers.
The guy is not a dummy. He's not going to get on the field in regular NFL play if he cannot play.
Exactly.
He's not going to do that. He's as we've talked about. He's 40 years old. He is going to calculate when he's on that field. He calculates every move he makes.
It's true. Down to the last microdose.
Yes.
By the way, I do not. I still maintain I got to see him play. Are you guys 100% certain he's actually going to follow through with this?
Well,
because he says
I'm not.
a lot of things.
He does say. Spencer Seeks asking if I just came from a darkness retreat. No.
Yeah, are you on ayahuasca right now?
I am on ayahuasca.
But there's something about this as
That'll
well.
be fun. Spice up the show.
And I see what Pete's saying, but like, there's something about football, maybe more than any other sport, is the unpredictability. Like, you don't control all the factors. Like this idea that he's like, oh, I can drop back, I can make this move, I can sprint. Well, okay, but like, what happens if a 300-pound lineman beats Mekhi Becton again on the left side, and you're there and you're a sitting duck?
Okay, but EJ, that could happen if he spends a year and a half repairing the Achilles. He could come back and another 300-pound lineman could land on him, and it could be a ACL this time. It could be the collarbone.
But you don't think
anything. It's a really dangerous sport.
So you don't think his Achilles and his leg, whichever leg it is going to be stronger in a year than it is in 3.5 months?
Listen,
that sounds insane to me.
Okay, it might be stronger, but that doesn't mean it's not playable now.
But
we're talking about degrees.
We're talking about playable for what? Again, the team is out of contention. There is nothing to this season. What are we playing for?
I mean, if Patrick Mahomes, he's never out of playoff contention, but the second, if he was even mildly injured, the second they were out of playoff contention, he would sit for the year. The great quarterbacks don't sit at the end because they're usually vying for playoff spots, but of course, any other quarterback would sit in this situation. They wouldn't even think twice. If Patrick Mahomes had a bad hangnail and something happened to the Chiefs, they would just pull him off the field because he's the entire franchise.
855-212-4CBS. I think this begs for a poll question. 855-212.
I don't think you want to see the results of that poll question, Maggie.
Aaron Rodgers, selfish or selfless?
I mean, is that really a poll question? I mean, come on. Is there Aaron Rodgers selfless? You can't even put that on a poll. That's so ridiculous.
855-212-4227. Not the only elderly quarterback who could be making an impact on this season. We'll get to that in just a moment. And a certain playoff race that just got a lot spicier. 855-212-4227. Let us know what you think about Aaron Rodgers. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. So, big change coming on the other side of the glass right now. Maggie, should we let people in on this?
Step on up, Ryan.
We got Ryan sitting in for Pete Bellotti. Let's just roast
It's about to be
this
a
kid.
handoff.
Yeah, let's.
This is like the baton.
He said, "Oh, it looks all
That's a
nice."
fire.
After Pete Bellotti's strange comments on the swinger activity in the Denver, Colorado area yesterday,
I just said that it doesn't surprise me that it's happening.
Yeah.
Over there.
I know, and then you invoked weed and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you're like,
what do they have to do with swinging?
You said let's ride. So Ryan,
They said let's ride.
yeah, Ryan, you have big shoes to fill over there. Let's ride.
We're gonna need all your takes on swinging couples. We're gonna need them immediately.
Pete, I was walking around my house yesterday afternoon, laughing to myself when you said, Russell Wilson and all that to explain the swinging in Denver. It was just such a random. Russell Wilson's the opposite of Russell Wilson's never smoked a joint in his entire life. I can guarantee that.
Russell, Colorado Rockies, let's swing.
Russell and Ciara, what?
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're doing, sitting front row at the Nuggets game. They're actually trying to pick out a couple.
That's what they mean when they say 1-2 step, right? The Sierra song.
I just had this image of Russell Wilson. If you were passing a joint to Russell Wilson, he would be so awkwardly say no thank you. I mean, that dude is, I'm guarantee he's the opposite of this.
Maybe it would do him a little good.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
No, it definitely would help
a
him.
little.
But that is not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson would be like, no, I have a drug test in 3 months. I can't do it.
Limited drug.
Spicy. Although it might make the sandwiches taste better.
But actually, Russell Wilson did go to Wisconsin, and they party at Wisconsin. So maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think he does.
Well, he's either hasn't touched it at all, or he's always on it.
Yes, you're right, Pete. It's either absolutely nothing or secretly he's like Cheech and Chong.
I'm going to go with the latter.
If there was a drug for Russell Wilson, it'd be some form of Adderall to keep his mind focused and sharp.
Right. It's like, I don't have to sleep.
He's the guy. Yeah, he's the guy who woke up to rehab his figure at 2 a.m. You think he's getting high and eating Doritos?
By the way, nobody called him selfish when he was doing that. We called him a little weird.
Because
but
the
nobody
Seahawks
called
were
him selfish.
yes.
Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers is being called selfish because he's pushing the boundaries on his rehab.
Yes, because the Seahawks were not out of playoff contention. And he almost got them back into it by coming back. That is called team first.
Okay, well, let's see what Tim Boyle does this week again. I don't even know the Jets are playing this week. Doesn't matter.
Can I, though, get you guys up to speed on a long-standing morning show hours storyline?
Come on
mentioning Pete and Ryan.
Hi.
In this place where, as you guys know, the budget space is limited, nobody has more discretionary cash than Pete Bellotti.
Discretionary cash?
Wait, you're going to get him robbed.
Ryan Botcher's going to stand there for 4 hours and get paid to listen to Pete go, you have to dump these 3 words,
Yes.
and this button turns on their microphones. He pretends like doing his job is a magic trick.
It is.
And he needs 4, 5, 6 hours of training for these guys.
Well,
Ryan,
especially with Maggie.
Whoa.
Ryan broke
I'm
the
a
whole
potty
system. Ryan broke the whole system because there was one day where Pete couldn't come in at the last minute. Ryan was here to train, worked, crushed the show, and here we are again. Pete bringing him back in, just burning money on Ryan, watching Pete put up buttons.
That's not fair.
Wow. Do we have
It's
to
crazy.
bring this to the attention of management?
Sounds fair.
It has been.
In Pete's defense, because I now am contractually obligated to defend Pete at all times
you.
because he did, as I believe, who said saved my bacon?
It was you.
Yeah, it's someone. Yeah, it's because our boss, Spike Eskin, has now publicly praised Pete because he saved me from cursing on the air. Now I have got to back up Pete. And Ryan, you don't know what's going to come out of my mouth.
That's right.
Could
Get
be
ready,
sex
Ryan.
toys. Could be me spelling out curse words.
Oh, you never know.
Just keep your hand over the dump button just for the next 4
Just
hours.
for me. Perloff's cool. You don't have to worry about him.
I don't curse. Can I ask a related question?
Yeah.
Does Andrew Bogusch have any friends in this building? Because it feels like
No.
you kind of go after
Great
everybody.
question.
Yeah.
So Maggie curses on air, and it's in the Boomer and Geo studio
10
within
minutes later.
5 minutes.
There's a machine here. I know how this works.
Yeah, now you're going after Bellotti. You go after me because of this Wembanyama bet.
No. You started that. I was prepared to be your friend. I was going to drive to Texas with you, and you said, no, thank you.
That is true.
Wembanyama?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No, we
I don't
did
know.
find out that Bogusch is the narc.
How'd
Yeah.
you find out?
EJ, watch your
'Cause I
back.
said-
Just
he's-
being with you.
No, I see his updates. Every time I talk about the NBA in-season tournament, he gets some slick shots in there in his updates. I think it's happening.
Well, that stinks anyway.
No, his
Bogusch
updates are 8 minutes of passive aggressiveness towards us. Every little score he says is a needle of someone in this room. He's actually a brilliant genius in
That's
that
why
way.
he's in that little booth over there.
I know.
Yep.
Not talking to anybody. He's plotting.
He's in there
kinda-
concocting things.
He's kind of like Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. He's kind of just shivving everybody, but yet
Thank you.
surviving for 6-7 seasons. I don't know how.
I'm like, why do I feel offended by that hockey highlight? It's because of Bogusch. It's just a Sharks highlight, and all of a sudden, somehow I look like an idiot.
It's all microaggressions towards you. But to be honest, I mean, Perloff, you did kind of ask for it. Bogusch was like, I'll ride shotgun with you all the way to San Antonio. You're like, I can't. I've got friends I want to see.
Yeah. No, that was on me. But there's nothing microaggression.
You guys
He
could
just
listen to Dave Matthews Band from all the way from
Right?
here to San Antonio.
Pavement.
microaggressions
songs.
like, oh, I don't know if I like that take. Saying Pete Bellotti stealing money, that's called an aggression, Maggie. There's no micro
macro
about that.
aggression. It's
He
been
just
12
said
years
Pete
with me
Bellotti.
and Pete.
Yeah. He's passing the line from microaggression to flat out aggression. Telling Boomer and Geo that you are cursing up a storm over here, that didn't need to be said. There was no reason to do that.
Yeah, it was free commercials for the show.
That's true.
They didn't even know what the name of the show was up until that point. Was it Maggie or Perloff?
They
Perloff or
know.
Maggie? Now they know.
No.
They
That
know.
was a pretending to forget the
Yes.
name of a girl's boyfriend at a bar. That was like
Gimmick.
Boomer didn't know where Moose was. That's been cleared up too. It served a lot of purposes.
Yes, we need to get to the bottom of that. We got headlines, allegedly.
They are sponsored proudly by Northern Tool and Equipment. Get
We're watching you, by the
tools
way.
need from the brands you trust. Start solving your projects today at northerntool.com. We are made for this. If you're going to lose by 44 points one night, make sure you have the Pistons up next.
Sasser down the middle. Goes up. AD blocks it, controls it, throws it to the other end. LeBron slammed up.
Just still get up for an old guy, huh? Still got that speed. It's amazing at 38, he still got those hops.
Michael Thompson, John Ireland, Lakers radio. LeBron 25, 28 for Anthony Davis. A season high 35 for D'Angelo Russell. LA cruising to a 133-107 win in Detroit after that shellacking in Philly. This is a team record 15th consecutive loss for the Pistons. Monty Williams getting paid a lot to not lose like this.
I think this group struggles with adversity. Anytime you have practices the way we have, you have the spirit we have in the locker room, anytime we run up against some adversity to start the game, you can just see the countenance, the spirit of the team start to diminish.
That's a rough quote to say in December.
Well, also, whose fault is that, Coach?
Somebody should make my guys tough. I don't know who it is.
Somebody should get these guys all believing that they can win. I think that's probably Cade Cunningham's responsibility.
Maybe they should bring in Bogus to insult every player on the team to send a message.
Yeah, my team can't deal with losing.
Those guys are bigger than me. I know my audience well. I don't need an angry Cade Cunningham now.
So are they out of the in-season tournament?
It's not. So here's in the NBA's defense, Pete. Only Tuesdays and Fridays were in-season tournament days. So last night was not one of those days. So.
You can tell is the court giving you a migraine headache, then it's a tournament day. If it's not giving you a migraine, then it's a regular day.
That was such a dismissive. Oh, it does mean they're out of the quote-unquote in-season tournament? And I do the same thing, Pete.
15 straight losses? Did that give it away? Or?
Oddly, they're the number 1 seed in that tournament. I don't know how this thing's working out. The point differentials.
Wait, are you being for real? Oh, okay.
No, but the Magic have won 8 in a row and somehow didn't make the quarterfinals.
Oh, my.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
Should be the champions.
They lost like a 7-way tiebreaker.
Well, but the Timberwolves aren't even in it, and they have the best record in the West, all right?
And the Lakers are the 2nd seed in the West.
But they're not in it either?
The Lakers are in it.
The Lakers are in it as the 2 seed.
No,
Maggie's Pacers are the 2 seed in the East.
I know.
Yeah, I had them in group C, subgroup B. What, I don't even know what
we took a hit in that pod. We had that one marked all wrong.
It's actually the SEC East. You have to play Florida next.
Oh, sorry, EJ. EJ gets really mad when we make fun of the in-season tournament.
Again, you guys can make fun of it all you want. Ratings up, again, interest up. And look, people are going to be watching. It's going to be awesome.
I think it stinks.
Is there any in-season tournament expansion conversation yet to get the Magic in for next time?
Oh, yeah.
Like CFP? Are we going to go to 6 next year?
Why not? Yeah, we got 8 this year and maybe go to 16. Who knows?
Okay. All right. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden combining for 60, and the Clippers 131-117 win in Sacramento. The Nuggets outscored the Rockets 134-124, with Nikola Jokic posting 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists. And Zion scored 33, hitting 11 of 12 shots, and the Pelicans 124-114 home win over the Sixers, who did not have Joel Embiid because he is sick.
Wait, hold on. You just pumped your fist.
Yeah,
I
didn't realize I played the Sixers until then. I regret it. I saw this. Actually, it's funny because I saw the Zion highlights and he was dunking on everybody, but I couldn't see the other team.
Tell you, these uniforms are out of control. You have no idea who's playing when you flip on the screen.
I went to bed early last night. I was like, I'm not doing any sports last night. I didn't even realize the Pelicans and the Sixers played, but I still.
Wait. Can I know you love Zion. You still have Zion stock. Fan. Do you have some kind of future bet tied to him?
I don't think I made a future bet, but I will. I gladly will. I was talking about a guy who should shut it down because he can't stay healthy. But I don't care. But the Sixers lose in November. It's not an in-season tournament game, Maggie. So why should I care?
So nothing.
It was a Wednesday. It doesn't matter
anyway. So it doesn't. It's fine.
And by the way, they load manage Embiid. So who cares, right?
I just love this new bit where on one hand you have the deepest Wembanyama's not good takes. And then you don't even know who the Sixers played last night.
Have you seen Brandon Miller? Have you seen Chet Holmgren? These guys are great.
Well, yeah, he's watching every Hornets.
If you guys really want to know my favorite, I am in the NBA. I'm much more about it. I'm like a 13-year-old. I care about the individual kids I see on Instagram. I'm a Sixers fan, but have you ever heard me upset because the Sixers lost, Maggie? The whole time we've done this show?
No, because every time one of your teams loses, all of a sudden nothing matters.
Yeah,
like,
but
this is your guard against.
The Eagles and the Philly. The Eagles matter. The Phillies do not matter. The Sixers are not getting past the second round. I'm a realist, unlike you and your teams.
You took a red eye after the Super Bowl. Heart-wrenching ending with the James Bradbury defensive pass interference. You guys would have won that game, and Perloff comes in after a red eye, and I was like, man, I'm really sorry about the Super Bowl. I was like, nah, it's no big deal. I'm like, that's a lie.
Spring training.
It was one of the great games of all time. I was proud of the team. That was one of the great. I don't think it was. That wasn't a loss where you come away saying, "Oh my God, we blew a huge opportunity." That was a great game. No. Because they'll be back. They'll be back this year, and they already won in 17. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. The Phillies. I mean, the Phillies win 84 games a year and somehow end up in the World Series. I'm supposed to feel bad about that?
I want to publicly apologize to Will Smith, Kevin Hart, the late Kobe Bryant, all the great Philadelphia folks. This is clearly a Fugazi Philadelphia fan we have here saying Super Bowl loss, it don't matter.
He's following in the Bradley Cooper footsteps.
Yeah,
guys.
Bradley Cooper. I'm sorry, Bradley Cooper.
Let me tell you right now, we disowned Kobe and Will Smith. No thanks.
No thanks right now.
Who is the guy? Kevin Hart will take. Who's the other guy you said?
Okay, I'll throw in Meek Mill.
Meek Mill will
Bradley
take.
Cooper.
You can have Will
Smith.
Smith.
We do like Ryan Phillippe around here.
Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah. Tina Fey, she's a good one.
Yeah.
No, we have great celebrity fans except for Will Smith.
But you're embarrassing all of them with this. Super Bowls don't matter. The Phillies don't matter. Sixers lose. Who cares? What's going on?
I know.
Well, you can be proud of your team. You can be proud of your team for getting to a certain level. Is that fair or no? Because nobody thought nobody thought the Eagles were making the Super Bowl last year. They came out of nowhere with Jalen Hurts.
Okay, but then they did.
Oh, you picked them? Okay.
I did.
But then they start off the season like 10-1
This
or whatever.
year, the expectations were low coming into last year. Now they're high, so it would probably be more disappointing if they lost in this year's playoffs than last year's, because it's a matter of expectations. If your team, the Phillies, won 87 games last year, 2 years ago, and made the World Series, how can you be upset by that?
The mental gymnastics you're doing to try to shelter yourself is really
Wait,
something.
does anyone else have a team in this room who's made the finals in anything in the last 15 years?
The Mets made the World Series twice.
I got two giant
once
Super
at
Bowls.
least. Yeah.
Yeah.
They lost to the Royals.
And it was
tough.
heartbreaking.
It was awful.
I saw Matt Harvey's career basically end on the mound, and I was like, wow, this is it. It was terrible. Do you think I just moved on from my day and was like, oh, okay, well, at least they got there? No. It was terrible. It was one of the worst losses I've ever experienced as a fan.
Because you knew it was the Mets and they never get back. I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. We're good at stuff. We'll get back there.
It's always the passive-aggressive stuff.
That's
not bad. That was aggressive.
Yeah, it was more aggressive. That's true.
It's all right.
I
Luis
can confirm
Severino,
that was
guys.
straight aggression.
Everything's going to be fine.
By the way, Luis Severino, the Mets signed him yesterday.
Yes.
I thought he was 42 years old. He's 29 years old.
Yeah.
But his body feels like a 42-year-old.
He's
All
been
the injuries
injured
he's been through.
every season.
The
for
negative
last
tweets from just
3
the people
years.
in this room about the Luis Severino, it was just a collective, oh boy.
Well,
Anyway.
if it was the only signing, I'd be a little more disappointed. But, let's see. Let's see what happens.
You guys just don't understand what it's like to be part of a consistently winning town. You can't.
Sure.
You have to be smart about what you say. And I actually do like Zion almost as much as I like the Sixers.
Let's look at the Phillies before 2007.
Also, a town that has the New York Yankees. Please tell us again about consistent winning.
Oh, that's even worse. I feel very bad for them because they have nothing but disappointment because they can't win anymore.
Yeah, but there's
The bar's so high that if you don't hit that bar, it breaks their
How
hearts.
can you say you're from a town that's used to winning, but when you lose, you embrace losing? That doesn't make any sense. You're
also,
saying
you're just getting to the championship game.
right.
That seems to be our thing of late. Yes, I admit.
It's like, oh, we're great winners, but when we lose, it's okay.
Until it matters.
Yeah.
Taking a page from the Braves book.
Listen, the Eagles are a different story. All the other teams are JV compared to the Eagles. When the Eagles lose, it means a lot in Philadelphia. When the Phillies lose, everyone's like, okay.
Any more headlines?
I mean, it doesn't
We're
matter.
good. No,
We're good.
Nothing matters.
I feel like we need a show bet now, something tied to the Eagles if they make the Super Bowl,
Right.
about Perloff and how he feels. I don't know what it
Well,
is.
by the way, I'll tell you right now that the Eagles are going to lose to the 49ers on Sunday. And I think is
You
that
also
a bad
said they were
fan
going to
take?
lose to the Bills. You just keep saying this.
And
now.
they basically almost did. But this one looks real bad for the Eagles.
Well, the fact they're underdogs at home is interesting.
Yeah, they're 3-point underdogs. I think, is that a bad fandom to be analytical about that? Because you actually do the same thing.
I do the same thing, but, I don't think you have the evidence to show you that this team is in real danger. Like, they haven't played their best game yet, and they still are winning and finding ways to win in the second half. Like, I think I have evidence when my team is about to win.
All the analytics show that the Eagles have been lucky to win these games. I mean, bounces have gone the right way. That doesn't last. So
No, you have the tush push, and nothing else matters. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, as we said, Bogish, thank you. We have another playoff race very much up for grabs. We will get to that in a minute. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free. Sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone's free battery testing and charging is available for free at your local AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Man, huge debate this morning. Is Aaron Rodgers being selfish, or is he helping the team by trying to come back so rapidly from his Achilles injury? Maggie and I do not see it the same way. I think this is bad news for the Jets. And Maggie, how would you explain your
I think
angle
he's being selfless. I don't understand what's wrong with a guy giving his all to come back from injury under a doctor's supervision. He's just pushing the limits, and it's got everyone all up in their feelings. Cedric is in Oakland. Good morning, Cedric.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
We're doing great. How you feeling?
I'm fine, thank you. I think Aaron Rodgers, of course, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but I think he is 100% selfish right now.
Okay, why?
Why put yourself at risk for possibly being injured all of next year? I think if you cared so much about the team, if you cared really so much about the team, you would sit this whole season out, get yourself ready for next year, and come back stronger and with a vengeance. You have nothing to gain right now at all. Your team is not even in playoff contention. Why go out there right now other than just to say, look what I did, me? Why go out there right now and risk yourself possibly being injured again for next year?
Cedric, it's a good call. Thanks for making it. Now, here's the thing. Not to split hairs here. He's not back. He's back on a practice field, which is very controlled environment, and he has said himself he's not going to come back unless he feels he can protect himself. And we're not there yet. But here's the thing about risk-taking and football. If you are somebody who is very worried about the risks, then I don't think you become a football player, quite frankly. Like, I think this is such a violent collision sport that if you are always worried about getting hurt, then you're sunk, you're doomed. You wouldn't be able to step on the field.
Right, but you're ignoring the Aaron Rodgers of all this. Aaron Rodgers, the rap on Aaron Rodgers is that he needs to be in the headlines at all times. This feels very consistent with that.
Okay, take that out of it for a second. If you surgically remove Aaron Rodgers' personality from this, from the equation, would you have a problem? You didn't have a problem with Cam Akers, right?
If Patrick Mahomes tore his Achilles in week 1,
and he was doing this, people would say,
no,
that guy's a hero.
And he tried to come back for a 4-7 Chiefs team, it would be mutiny. People would be so upset because they know he's got to get fully healthy to lead them to future Super Bowls. So they would nobody. First of all, it would never happen because Mahomes knows he has a gigantic future. Rodgers has a very limited future, so I think that's why he's rushing back.
I watched Mahomes limping around all through the playoffs where the team was trying to take him out, and he said, absolutely not.
Right.
Would not do it.
Because they were in contention.
I get it, you're in contention, but what if if we're playing the what-if game, what if he had aggravated that injury so badly that it took out all of 2023? We could do this forever.
He had a sprained ankle. He did not have a torn Achilles. And besides, if the Jets were in contention, I would never say this. If they were 7-4, not 4-7, I'd be exactly where you are. Oh my God, this is incredible. But they're 4-7.
I think that Rodgers, because of his advanced age, does want to try to maximize everything, right? He realizes that next year is his only shot with the Jets. Does anyone think he's playing past next year? Maybe he will. I don't know. But he has this one shot. So if you can get some positive momentum going at the end of the season and you can try to get a little of that chemistry or a little, this is why, when rookies start at the end of the year, you can sort of build on something. And if the doctors say it's okay, who are we to begrudge it?
This reminds me of Favre in New York. We wondered what could go wrong when Brett Favre got to New York, and he was gone in a year and back in the NFC North. I'm telling you, this Aaron Rodgers thing is not going well. I know he loves the Jets. I'll bet you he finishes with another team. I'll bet you he's somewhere else in 2 years.
Well, I mean,
probably Chicago, where he plays so well.
If Brett Favre, hadn't been texting pictures of his junk to Jen Sturger, I mean, things went really bad here with Favre. There's none of that kind of silly stuff.
At least he won some games in a Jets uniform. Actually. What has Aaron Rodgers done here? Favre, I say here, was more successful on the field than Rodgers has been. Rodgers has played 4 snaps for this team, and this would be risking him playing any real meaningful time for him. So why do that?
I think if the doctors don't see it as a risk, why should we see it as a risk? Pushing the bounds of medical science is not a bad thing, and it's something that happens in sports all the time. We've got to get used to it. I remember when microfracture surgery meant over. That meant your career was over in basketball and other things. And now we see guys all the time recovering from stuff. And just because we haven't seen it yet doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah, but nobody would come back in the NBA from microfracture surgery if they were out of the playoff mix. That'd be nuts. Just like this is nuts, Maggie.
855-212-4CBS. You can go vote on our poll at Maggie and Pearl on the Twitter. Is Aaron Rodgers being selfless or selfish for trying to come back and play this season? At Maggie and Pearl. Our big announcement, what's going on this weekend with the Maggie and Perloff show? We'll get to that next, plus the playoff race, very much in the balance.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's the reigning Fortnite champion. She's a Call of Duty legend. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show. Playoff races in the NFL. We got Cowboys game tonight, by the way. Cowboys Seahawks, wow, that kind of jumped up on us a little bit. So that's going to be really fun. But Perloff is feeling very strong about one NFL playoff race. He's going against the grain.
Against the grain.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of my thought process and how I came to this take.
Okay.
I was thinking about your pick for the Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Your reasoning was the Jaguars are going to have the number one seed, which gives you a huge advantage. If you look at the history, the one seed in either the conference gets a bye and often makes it deep in the playoffs. Great reasoning. And the Jags are in great position to get the number one seed. But I looked at my pick, which was the Eagles versus the Steelers, and I said, the Steelers are in bad shape. Then I looked at the standings, and then I looked at the future schedule, and I said, wait a second. My Steelers could easily get the number one seed as well. I think you are totally, you and everybody in America, discounting that. Right now, they are one loss away from the number one seed. They're the 5 seed. But they have by far the easiest schedule of any playoff contender left. Look at the teams that they play coming up. They have the Cardinals in Pittsburgh this week, which they could lose, I'll admit that. Then they have Bailey Zappi and the Patriots coming next week. They're 7-4. I'm penciling in 9-4, Maggie. Now the real challenge begins. They go to Indy, who might have given up on the season at that point. I know they're in playoff contention now. That's not a hard game. And then the Bengals and Jake Browning. Where's the loss? The last 2 games, Seahawks and Ravens. But they can make up a lot of ground on the teams that are ahead of them. The Dolphins and Ravens play each other. The Ravens go to San Francisco. The Chiefs have not looked like themselves. The Jaguars have no one on their schedule. That's a little bit of a problem. But the Steelers, of all the contenders, have the easiest schedule remaining by a long stretch, except for Jacksonville. They have an easy schedule, too. And I need Jacksonville to lose, too. Don't know where I'm getting those losses from. But the Steelers could easily climb up the standings, despite the fact that I will admit they are not a great team right now. Not by any means. They could easily lose to the Cardinals this week. But it is setting up for them to make a run where they're 9-4, 10-4. When you're 10-4, Maggie, you're in the mix for the number one seed. I think we are sleeping on Pittsburgh's playoff seeding right now.
Interesting. When I watch the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't feel like I'm watching the number one seed in the AFC.
I don't disagree. I do not disagree.
Right.
But does it matter? When I watch the Buffalo Bills, I think that's a really good team. And guess what? They're not even going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. So could they get the number one seed? Well, I mean, you saw a definite difference in the offense. I know they only scored 16 points last week, but without Matt Canada there, they're definitely moving the ball down the field. Don't
distract yourself with what you're actually seeing with the team. It means nothing. What do you have to do to beat Arizona and New England the next 2 weeks?
Very little.
Do you really trust the Colts, especially with Jonathan Taylor hurt?
Well, that would be the big thing, the thumb injury for Taylor.
They could go into that week 18 matchup against the Ravens with everything on the line. It's very possible the division comes down to that game.
Okay. Can I also give you like a little, what's the Occam's razor? Not Occam's razor. What's
the simplest?
The simplest. Yes,
simplest solution is the most straightforward solution.
Yeah. Can I just present the Kansas City Chiefs getting the number one seed? So they're at Green Bay, and I know Green Bay has been better, but
L
for the Chiefs?
No, I'm just trying to convince myself.
This is Mahomes' first time in Lambeau, so that's going to be pretty interesting. But anyway, that's a winnable game. My Buffalo Bills, they get them at home. I mean, the Bills, this has not been a good season. Then they're at New England. Again, Bailey Zappi, Malik Cunningham.
I'll give you that one.
The Raiders, who they just beat and beat handily. Cincinnati Bengals, that was supposed to be the marquee matchup, but no Joe Burrow, who cares? And then at the Chargers. Yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of W's here for the Chiefs as well.
But if you eyeball, but let me ask you this. You eyeball the Chiefs this year. Do you see a dominant team right now?
Their offense is the greatest show on turf compared to the Steelers. You realize that?
Yeah, I understand that. But their offense is way down from last year by every metric. They are a completely different team.
Yeah, but I also just watched them put together a pretty good second half against the Raiders.
Against the Raiders.
I know, but
they were down 14-0 in that game.
You don't think they can score on the Green Bay Packers?
I think there's two tricky games. I think the Bills is going to be a really tricky game for them because the Bills are going to be playing for everything. And they went into Philly and gave the Eagles all they could handle.
Bills coming off a bye.
I just worry eyeballing the Chiefs that they have not coalesced yet.
Yeah, but if there's any team you're going to bet on in these last few games of the season, wouldn't it be the Chiefs? Anyway, that's my take. That's
what about your Jags?
Against the grain.
I can't believe you didn't go with your Jags,
by
the way.
It's funny. You mentioned that they have this really easy schedule, I guess, but they also have to play. So Cincinnati, then at Cleveland, so okay. But then Baltimore. You're at Tampa Bay. But they might be at Kyle Trask at that point. Carolina's going to be easy. Then you're at Tennessee. Yeah, there's a lot of winnable games.
So the Ravens play the Dolphins are also in the mix, but I am hoping that the Ravens, Dolphins, and Jaguars knock each other out. That's the chance here. You eyeball all these teams. The funny thing, Baltimore is clearly the best team right now, but their schedule is insane. They have the hardest remaining strength of schedule.
No, the Ravens are clearly the best team, not Baltimore.
Right, Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about Cleveland.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Baltimore's the best team, yes.
Baltimore is
Sorry, I had a stroke on the
look at their schedule. They had the Niners, the Jags, the Dolphins, and the Steelers, and the Chargers. So it's just this whole against the grain take is a function of schedule. Everything is laying out right there for the Steelers. They don't even have to play great football to get through this.
Are we totally discounting the Browns?
I am.
EJ, I think you still believe the Browns have a shot.
Yeah, not only do I think the Browns have a shot to find a way to make the playoffs, I think now that Joe Flacco being inserted into the starting lineup, the Browns can win the AFC North.
Oh, my gosh, EJ.
Joe Flacco.
To quote you,
Joe
you're
Flacco.
bugging.
Look, think about it. We already talked about the Ravens' schedule being very difficult.
Right.
Really, I think to get to realistic chances of winning the division, you're talking about the Browns having to get to 11 wins. I think them sitting at 7, they have 4 wins on the schedule. You got the Rams this week. You got the Bears. You got the Texans. You got the Jets. And you got the Bengals left. The only tough games I see here are the Jaguars and the Texans. The Bears and Jets will not score any points against this Browns defense. It is probably the best defense in the NFL. Those are 2 wins easily in your pocket. Now you're saying, okay, can you beat a Rams team on the road, and can you beat the Bengals on the road in the last week of the season where most guys will be sitting and Jake Browning will probably still be playing? That gets you to 11 wins. With the Ravens' tough schedule, if they slip up here, the Browns are right in position to possibly win this division still. I think Joe Flacco gives them a much better chance than DTR and a much better chance than P.J. Walker.
Yeah.
So I think look out for the Browns to find a way to somehow win this division. Do they win a game in the playoffs? No. I think they're going to lose to all these good teams, but their schedule's easy enough and their defense is good enough that just getting any kind of competency at the quarterback position will put them in a position to potentially win that division.
Well, one thing, is Joe Flacco competent at the quarterback position right now? I mean, no disrespect,
no.
And the last time we saw him was with the Jets, so you never know. Is it the team? Is it him? But, I mean, I watched him take a sack on like 2nd and 23. It was like, I know he had that good game against the Browns last year, but I think Flacco's days are long behind.
I mean, I've now seen basically, 4 quarterbacks play for this terrible Jets team. He was definitely the second best of that group. I mean, you could argue maybe he was the best. It's Mike White, it's Zach Wilson, and it's Tim Boyle. And
you forgot Chris Streveler.
Oh, and Streveler had a game, and he didn't start. But, yeah, so 5. I've seen 5 guys. And I think if you looked at the Jets offense and the most production they had, probably was Flacco.
So Mary Kay Cabot, who covers the Browns, did tweet yesterday that Myles Garrett actually likely does have structural damage in his left shoulder, but he's determined to keep playing. Does that influence your decision if he's not nearly 100%?
No, I think that if he can get out there on the field and he feels like he can be effective, then I trust him with his body way more than Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to say, you realize you're making my point on that.
Yeah, no, I trust him way more considering he's, a 26-year-old, freak athlete in the prime of his career. I think that if he can get out there, he's still going to be a problem. And to me, unlike a quarterback, him just being on the field presents a lot of problems for defense. They have to adjust for him just being on the field, and that could open up things for other people. So, no, I don't think that affects it at all. I think that Brown defense is really good. They have great linebackers. They have really good corners. Like, they're good beyond Myles Garrett.
And the reason why I bring up Rodgers is a callback from the first hour where our conversation was, is Aaron Rodgers being selfish or selfless for trying to come back from this Achilles so quickly? But, again, we stay with the AFC North on this one.
I think the Browns lose their next 2 games. At the Rams and Jacksonville, then they're 7-6, and maybe they go on a late run. But why do you think they're going to win at Houston? That seems like a really
don't have
hard.
to. I don't know if they're going to win at the Rams.
The
Rams just won.
I was actually surprised. It is only a 3.5 point spread, but that does feel like a tall task because especially we don't really know for sure. It's Flacco.
But this Browns team has been very resilient on the road. They beat the Ravens on the road. They beat
with Deshaun playing a really good second half.
They beat the Colts on the road, and the Colts have been a pretty good home team. I mean, they've had some really solid wins on the road. They've been a little bit kind of surprising and unpredictable. Like one game, Deshaun gets basically concussed in the first quarter. One game, he has this miraculous second half. Like the Browns, this team is really resilient.
They lost Nick Chubb and they lost their quarterback, but I mean, they just got handled by a Denver team that I don't think is very good.
I think a lot of that was the shell shock of first week without Deshaun. You're playing with DTR, who's clearly a rookie and clearly in over his head. I think that he has talent. I think that maybe down the road he could be someone who could be a player. He's just not a player right now.
Can we do a show bet? Who ends up with a better record, Steelers or Browns?
I'll do that.
Oh, okay, so speaking of show bets, I like it. Now we got to put some stakes on it. We'll figure out what that is. Speaking of show bets, so tomorrow we need to pay off the Bills-Eagles show bet.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this was a show bet that has been shrouded and clouded in controversy from the moment that it was made, which is, I believe, when the Eagles played the Bills, so my favorite team against Perloff's favorite team, that we were using the spread because that's how we've always done things. Whenever we bet anything, it's always with the spread. And the Bills lost by 3. The Eagles were favored by 3, so it's a push. So I thought none of us are going to have to do the dress-up thing and root for each other's teams. Meanwhile, I get called a fraud. Every name in the book.
Yep.
Our boss has to come in here, and he's so mad that I'm trying to wiggle out of this bet that he says, not only do I have to dress up, now Perloff still has to dress up even though he won the bet, and now EJ has to dress up just by virtue of being here and not holding me accountable for trying to sneak out of the bet.
The executive producer of the show is responsible for everything that happens on the show, and EJ definitely has to dress up.
Meanwhile, Bilotti gets spared because he saved me from cursing on the air twice. So this is like not all evenly applied, but bottom line is we all are dressing up. The 3 of us are dressing up tomorrow. Now, I hit a snag. You've given me your Eagle stuff. Zach Gelb was nice enough to give EJ some Patriot stuff.
Yep.
And I have to give you my Bill stuff. So I have to mental note, wash that stuff tonight. But I couldn't find the face paint, guys. I looked yesterday. I went to a big box chain store that rhymes with Schmalschmart. And they have no, Halloween stuff left. So they've got no face paint. So where am I going to find this? Why did I just say Walmart? I don't know. I don't give them free publicity.
Yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, I spent $85 on other stuff at Walmart yesterday, but I did not buy the face paint.
Yeah,
that's always how it goes, by the way.
I
don't think Walmart needs your free publicity.
Yeah, they don't need me to prop them up.
It's funny, you've been dreading putting green face paint. All of a sudden, you can't find the green face paint. It sounds like more weak behavior in this bet, Maggie.
Well, another thing, a little company you may have heard of called Schmamishman, they can't get the face paint delivered in time because all the Black Friday deals that are going on, you can't, it's not a prime, commodity. So I couldn't get the face paint overnighted.
Another company that does not really need your free boost.
All right, sorry.
It took me
Amazon.
way too long to realize what you were even saying. Schmamazon? I was like, what is that?
Yeah, because, you could have at least left the second Z. So here's the question. I think this is a new poll question. What is weaker by Maggie? Trying to get the points in the original bet or pretending that she can't find the face paint?
I'm not pretending. I cannot find it.
Sure.
It's going to be December 1st tomorrow. There's no Halloween makeup around.
Okay, I brought in Eagles gear for her to wear. You brought in Patriots gear. What has Maggie done to help pay off this bet?
Okay.
Nothing.
I
don't see any Zubaz. Where are the Zubaz?
Well, I got to wash it because I was actually wearing it the other day when they lost to the Eagles. So I've got to wash it. I'm sorry. It's been a couple days. I'm not going to give you dirty Zubaz.
I didn't know they were loser pants. You wore it during the Eagles game. Now I think they're cursed.
They're Bills pants. Of course they're loser pants. How did you guys not even take that layup? I'll give it to you. I can't find it. I'm going to try today. Meanwhile, why am I the only one looking for it? Well, probably because I lost the bet. I'm trying.
I mean,
I'm
give
trying.
us something. It's bad enough me and Perloff got to even be involved in this.
I don't mind wearing Bills gear, by the way. They're cute little lovable AFC loser. This is going to be awesome.
It's just funny that you have to wear my stuff because the pants are big. I ordered like a size large because I wanted them kind of
all
roomy.
Zubaz are big.
Yeah, I know.
I've never seen tight Zubaz.
My shirt's like a medium.
Well, I have to wear your shirt?
Yeah, well, I'm bringing you in my stuff. I'm not bringing you Andy's stuff, my husband.
Why not?
Because I think that's part of the bet is you had to wear my Bills gear. That makes it funnier.
I thought the whole thing was you dress up as a passionate Bills fan.
Yeah, and I'll bring you my stuff.
But no passionate Bills fan. Bills fans, and I've seen a lot of them in the parking lot, they do not wear tight clothes.
Well, get ready.
Mag's like, this one does.
I could cut it off to be a crop top between now and tomorrow. I mean,
Pick Ezekiel Elliott.
All right, so we're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to pay off the bet. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. If you want to watch us, I'll find the face bet. I got to find it. Even though I have a lot of things to do today, but I will put them all aside to get this stuff. If I can find it. It's hard. What if I can't find the face paint? You just want regular paint?
You mean like kind you put on a wall?
I mean,
no, I do not want
Benjamin
that.
Moore?
We'd be high as a kite by the second segment.
What about I don't know, what about something acrylic?
You mean like a watercolor?
Oh, I'm not talking about oil paints like Bob Ross.
We're
I'm
going to
talking
look like
about
Monet? I don't understand what you're talking about. Something acrylic.
Well, what's my backup plan if I can't find the face paint? Like my kids' paint?
Well, there's face
Finger
paint
paint?
out there in this world. Somebody will mail us face paint. We can find face paint.
By
Maggie.
tomorrow?
Well,
maybe this can't be that hard.
Party City should have it.
Party City?
Should.
Thank you, Ryan, for that contribution.
Yeah, I think we should make Ryan dress up too.
Ryan,
I don't even know if you're here tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow.
You're a fan of a New
I'm
York
a Jets
team?
fan.
Another one.
Another one?
You're sitting
Shout out to DJ Khaled.
You're sitting next to EJ and you're sitting in front of Pete. You're surrounded.
That is true.
Oh, Pete's still here. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Pete's here. All right, so tomorrow it's happening. Are we also eating food from each other's teams?
Oh, I like where your head's at.
I don't really feel like putting down a cheesesteak tomorrow.
No, I don't really feel like eating wings.
I got to eat New England clam chowder.
These are all not morning breakfast.
By the way, it's like this was an Eagles-Bills game, and now somehow the Patriots are involved in this, and I have to suffer through this.
Can you
I still
imagine
can't get
eating
over
clam chowder at 7:00 in the morning?
Yeah, I wouldn't be here by 8. I'd be living in the bathroom.
And you have to cheer for Bailey Zappi on Sunday too.
What? No, that's not happening. There's any line as an EP of the show, I'm not stepping across.
Oh, now you're invoking
Well,
it.
the irony is EJ gets the worst of this because he actually has to cheer for a team that is a rival. You don't mind the Eagles that much.
I do mind you now.
And I don't mind the Bills. Like, there's no natural rivalry. We play once every 4 years. So, EJ,
why can't I get like the Rams, or why can't I get?
I know. That's the brilliant part about this. I love a bet where somebody takes a stray there. That's awesome.
Well, blame Spike. 855-212-4CBS. So we are going to look ridiculous tomorrow. So if you want to dress up, it's going to be like opposite day or something, like Freaky Friday. We're going to all switch our fan affiliations.
What do they wear on their heads? Isn't there some big buffalo head that's
meanwhile, you're supposed to have been wearing a buffalo head for a while now.
Oh,
you owe Nick in Texas a buffalo
head.
I
know. I think I'm going to do that for National Title Weekend. I'm supposed to dress up as a Buffalo Beast. What was the bet I lost? I took Nebraska over Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
How did Nebraska lose that game?
Feels like 2 years ago.
How did Nebraska lose that game?
How did Nebraska lose that game? They've been asking that for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I know. Then they actually went on to win some games this year.
I know. Are they bowl eligible?
No, I think they lost. Anyway, Matt Rule seems to get a lot of press for some guy who's not winning at all. But yeah, I have to also wear a collar. There's a lot of bets that are out there. We have
and most of them have to do with you.
Well, what else? The one that I do not like, and I think that I want to retract, is that if Michigan does not win a college football playoff game, somebody has to wear a singlet.
Yeah, that's me and EJ versus you.
Yeah.
I'm really nervous about Michigan in that 2-3 game.
Great.
And
Great.
as you should be.
Yeah, that's what I tried to tell you.
Well, what is it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Great question.
I think they can get smoked by a lot of these teams.
Michigan?
Yeah.
But
I think Oregon could smoke them.
I'm a little worried about Oregon.
Yeah. I think Washington could smoke them.
That I don't think.
Those would be the 2 teams I'd be worried about if I was you. I think they could be. I think they could be
Alabama
Texas.
gets back into this.
I think they could be Texas, and then Florida State somehow increases in the standings. I
If
think
they could
you're
just
probably good with them.
somehow get Florida State up to number 3 and have Florida State, Michigan, then you guys are wearing singlets.
Then I'd be very worried.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, so got a lot on the burner here, multiple burners, but the bottom line is we want to hear from you 2 things. Number 1, is Aaron Rodgers being selfish or selfless for rushing this Achilles rehab back to get on the field yesterday, which he did? Number 2, who's going to win the AFC North? Perloff says the Pittsburgh Steelers and get the number 1 seed. EJ says it's going to be the Cleveland Browns. I would take the Ravens on this one, but this is not my battle. Also, tomorrow you can watch us, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. We'll be paying off our Eagles-Bills show bet tomorrow with gusto. So make sure to tune in. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Stayed up late last night reading every mock draft / NFL draft prospect rating. And guess who's at number one on all of them? Almost all of them. Actually, Drake May is going in some of them. But the strong Vegas favorite to be number one overall is Caleb Williams, USC quarterback. Then Caleb Williams comes out and says, you know what? It's a quote-unquote game-time decision whether he'll declare for the 2024 draft. Maggie, do you buy that Caleb Williams has not decided yet whether he's going to the NFL?
No, and this is not about Caleb Williams. This is about all the guys who do this. This song and dance is like the most annoying one to me in sports.
I can't remember a song and dance like this, though, where Trevor Lawrence wasn't song and dancing.
They all say the same thing, and I get why they do it. They don't want to distract.
Game time decision?
Well, they don't want to distract from what the team, like if the team's playing in a bowl game or something, they don't want to make it about them. It's always, hey, I'll wait to a later date. And then 2 days after the bowl game, they're going to declare for the draft.
No.
It's all the same stuff.
That is not this. This is saying I am going to hold leverage over the team that's going to try to draft me at number one. This has nothing to do with protecting USC. Their season, I know they may play a bowl game, but I don't think he cares about that. I don't think he's supporting his teammates. I think he's sending a message to the Chicago Bears and other teams saying, hey, if you draft me, you better have your ducks in a row.
Oh, I don't see it that way. So here's the way I see it. I think that Caleb Williams, who already is getting some backlash in some corners for, is he a team guy? His sort of demeanor, the crying after the loss, like into his mother's arms. I think all that's kind of weak sauce that he'd be getting criticized for it, but he is getting that, right?
Right.
So for him to declare for the draft before USC's season is technically over, I think invites more criticism from people who are just looking to pile on to say, look, this guy's already got a foot out the door.
Well, he doesn't have to declare, but he can just say, you know what, we'll get to that in a later date. Like most players. I don't think most players say it's a game time decision.
Well, I don't even know what that means. What's the game time?
He said he's going to wait till January 15th and then decide, maybe I'll come back to USC for another year. He is definitely floating that out there for a reason.
Oh, I think it's an empty threat. I know
it's
that we've seen
empty,
it with
but
Eli Manning, but
he's pulling an Eli Manning.
Listen, if he can actually pull off an Eli Manning in this day and age without the cover of having Archie Manning and Peyton Manning already, like famous figures who had great reputations and all of that stuff where it's like, oh, Eli's fine. I don't think in this day and age you can pull an Eli Manning or a John Elway or what Jim Kelly did or any of that stuff. First of all, there's not another league to go to, but the XFL, but I don't think guys do that now. I think that's what we disagree on this. I think he is sending a message to the NFL, not his teammates, because this season is beyond loss for USC. It has been disappointing. I mean, what are the Bears going to do? Like, say the Bears have the number one pick because of Carolina. Because of Carolina. What's he going to say to them? Hey guys, you better what? Hire the coach I want? Hire the GM I want? If he's smart, he'll say, "Don't draft me," because that is a death place for quarterbacks. I mean, what's the last Bears good quarterback? No, it's not. Never. But so you either got to go full throttle. You say to the Bears, "Don't draft me." They're going to say, "Watch us." I think they'd call his bluff on this. Yeah, I mean, this happened with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had to come out and say, "I'm fine with going to Jacksonville," because people were worried. Oh, I was worried that he might not want to go to the Jets for sure. But the funny thing is, geographically, he's from right near Jacksonville, where Caleb Williams, I think, is even different than Trevor Lawrence. He's always been very intentional about his future in the NFL. He's thought a lot about it since he was in high school. Okay, so his dad is one of those dads. So I think he's very intentional. I want to go to a spot where I can thrive. Okay, so here's the question, though. Like, Eli Manning didn't want to go to the San Diego Chargers at the time.
Yeah.
And specifically, they wanted to go to the Giants, right? If I remember that story correctly, and Bogus, you might be, remember that. You're a big Giants fan. It wasn't like, I just don't want to go to San Diego and I'll go anywhere else. Where's Caleb trying to get himself to? The Washington Commanders, his hometown team?
I'm not sure.
They're all up in the air. Who's going to be the coach?
He probably will end up in Chicago, but I think that he's probably really nervous about Chicago because that team and that front office has not really been able to build an offense. I think he's going to want to have say over the coach. I think he's going to want a lot of power here.
But I'm just saying, like, that. Okay, that's maybe negotiable, but if he didn't want to go to the Bears, where's the other good place here? Here's the top 10 in the draft if the season ended today. It'd be Chicago by way of Carolina. Arizona looks like they're sticking with Kyler. New England.
No.
Chicago again. Washington Commanders. New York Giants. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jets. Chargers, Tennessee. Now I'm Las Vegas. Now I'm beyond the top.
I think
10.
a lot of those are good. I think any quarterback would want to go play in the warm weather of Tampa Bay. I think the Giants is interesting because of the marketing. I think there are a lot better options than the Bears, but it also might be the coach too. We were going to talk about transfer portal rumors. I was reading up all night on transfer portal.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks Lincoln Riley is gone. That he's done with USC to the NFL. That is the
he just got to USC.
That's the presumption out there that maybe he's going to bring Lincoln Riley with him, which is. I'm just saying there's a lot of options here. I just can't see him taking game time decision to protect the feelings of his teammates. Feels like that's just way too strong. Usually guys just put it out there, oh, that's for a future date. I've heard a lot of quarterbacks.
Yes.
I mean, Spencer Rattler declared yesterday. He's not, he's not mincing words here.
And if Spencer Rattler could come back to college and transfer somewhere else, I'm sure he would. But I think he's used up all of his grad transfer.
No, he actually has one more year.
He?
He had to say, I'm not coming back yesterday.
Yeah, everybody has one more year. Cam Rising is in year 9 at Utah.
He's 40.
There's nobody. Yeah, Spencer Rattler's 23. That's right. He declared yesterday because it wouldn't have been a story if he was a senior.
He could have played one more year.
I think,
And said, I'm good.
Well, I think because probably South Carolina's getting in the portal for someone else, right?
Yeah. No, I think he's ready to go. He's 23, so he's got to at least give it a try at some point.
Well, I don't know what that means anymore. Michael Penix is like 25, isn't he?
Miami has like a 26-year-old tight end going for year 9 of eligibility. No, that was not a lie, by the way. All that, what I just said was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam McCormick.
Wait, who was the kicker from Colorado State? Wasn't he? He had a family. He's like a father of 2.
Yes. Yeah, there was that kid. We had a kid who was about to work in Wall Street, and then he went back to Clemson.
Yeah, that kicker.
Somehow he was able to get back his eligibility.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what these rules are anymore.
Remember, he came back just because they wanted him for short kicks, and then he missed the kick.
Yeah.
I did a college basketball game years and years ago with a guy who had gone into the Army and came back and had never gone to college, and he was like 31 in a college basketball game.
He playing for Fordham?
No, he played for George Mason against Fordham. Yeah, it was
he had
crazy.
like a full beard?
He was an adult. He was a full-on man playing in a college basketball game.
It was like a guy.
And he was from the Army, so he was tough on top of being old. Yeah.
But it's funny. It looks like a guy who lost his way, like was looking for a pickup rec game and found his way to Rose Hall Gym.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Rose Hill.
Rose Hill.
Sorry.
To me, that's worse than like some of these stories we have where like the 19 or 20-year-old is playing high school basketball. I think the 30-year-old playing college basketball, high school, but yeah, the 30-year-old playing college basketball is way worse than when we have a 20-year-old, 21-year-old that's somehow still playing high school sports. Like,
but that guy gets arrested.
Yeah, that guy usually gets caught.
That's fraud.
That's grown. I know it's fraud, but you got grown man strength, like playing against people like are 19. 18.
EJ, no one's going to disagree with you on this take. It's bad to pretend you're 17 years old when you're 27.
But my thing is though, we're allowing very old players to play college sports, and in high school, even if you're just a couple of years older, of course it is fraud and it's bad.
But you
know what I'm saying? Like we think this is totally normal that Miami has a 26-year-old tight end. Like I don't think that's normal at all.
No. Let's quickly hit the phones, and we're going to do the headlines. Michael is in Nevada, pardon me. Want to weigh in on the Rodgers. Is he being selfish or selfless by rushing his rehab and coming back? Good morning, Michael.
Hi, Maggie and McLovin.
Michael, how you doing?
I just moved like a few miles from Vegas to Henderson, so I'm just.
You can still say Vegas.
Yeah, but Henderson's cool. That's where the Raiders are.
Nice.
You guys haven't seen their complex is amazing. It's like so gorgeous.
We've heard good
they have
things.
An indoor-outdoor facility.
Meanwhile, big game in Vegas on Friday night, Pac-12 championship game at Allegiant.
I want to go. I'm trying to go. I'm a huge Oregon Duck fan.
There you go.
Like, big time.
What do you think about Rodgers? Selfish or selfless, Michael?
So, I just want to say, I hope when Jordan played for the Wizards, I mean, it was just, we knew he wasn't going to win the championship, but just to see him hit those 12-footers, they just hit the back of the rim and went down. I mean, I just want to see Rodgers throw it around a little bit, and I just want to see the guy play again.
Yeah.
I don't need to know if they're going to make the playoffs or not.
It's like an appreciation, Michael, and thank you for the phone call, and hope things are working out in Henderson. It's like an appreciation for a guy who's on limited time, and we're not going to see him much in the future. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, but we want to see him next year. We want to see him make one more real run at an MVP and a Super Bowl. And this seems, to me, it definitely doesn't help do that. It risks doing that for next year.
Andrew Bogusch has headlines. Good morning.
Good morning again. You guys mentioned this top of the hour. It's Thursday already, which means there's an NFL game tonight, the Cowboys and Seahawks. Seattle hasn't scored a touchdown in 7 quarters, only has 3 of them in the last 4 games. But Geno Smith has confidence.
We still got those same players and same coaches. And so I trust in our process. I believe in the players around me. I believe in the coaches. I believe in myself. And so for us, again, it just get back to doing what we do, which is playing good football, playing sound football.
But they probably won't have running back Kenneth Walker again tonight. Still has an oblique injury. He did not face the Niners a week ago. In non-Aaron Rodgers QB news, only Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham took reps at QB during the media portion of Patriots practice yesterday. Bill Belichick, again, not publicly naming his starting QB.
Man, I can't wait for someone to write a book about this.
The whole thing.
Do we get a Mac Jones memoir after this and figure out what the hell's actually going on? I'm sorry, back to you.
If you need a college quarterback, I hope you have Pete's training budget. I'm guessing that Nebraska head coach Matt Rule does not.
Make no mistake that a good quarterback in the portal costs $1 million to $1.5 million to $2 million right now. So just on the same page, right? So let's make sure we all understand what's happening. So. There's some teams that have $6 or $7 million players playing for him.
So that's him saying he doesn't have the money for a good
I was
quarterback?
going to say.
They're paying Scott Frost $15 million to not be coach.
Not only that,
there's money in Lincoln.
He's trying to get a quarterback for $1 million. Like, even I know that is not going to get you a quarterback this day.
Also, do you realize how quickly that escalated? He's like $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million, $2 million. He's like,
some guys are making 7.
Yeah,
it's like an auctioneer.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher just had a $75 million buyout. Oh, God forbid the starting quarterback gets $6 million.
Right.
God, I hate college sports. And that's why I'm with Jim Harbaugh. Pay these players. Share the revenue. This is all insanity.
I really do think, especially like Indiana and Nebraska, a place like that, if you really are going to say we don't have a lot of money, then keep the coach around and make him keep coaching and use that money towards better players, right? Like reallocate your resources.
But you need the boosters to give the money, though. You can't use the public funds.
No,
for
I
the
get
players.
that.
So it's a little tricky.
It's a little different. It's different type of money. I get it's different coming from a different place. But let's think about things here.
And let's be real. I mean, the money even for these coaches is also coming from these boosters. I mean, Texas A&M was able to give Jimbo Fisher the money because the boosters said, here's a lot of money. And they're able to still pay him off because the boosters said, here's a lot of money. Like a lot of these places, they're getting a lot of this money from these boosters anyway. So it's ridiculous that you're like, oh, well, the boosters can help us with the coaching. The players, $1 million, too much for us.
It's too rich.
No, but A&M will pay the players. This is weak Nebraska sauce right there.
Well,
I don't know what Matt Rule was talking about.
And there was a coach the other day that said, everybody, 1,000 people give $500, and he was asking for a donation, like one paycheck for they're out of control. There's so much money. They pay 6 figures to teams to come and get beat up by them.
Yeah, right.
And now Nebraska pays 6 figures, $600, $600K. For somebody to go there and get throttled, but he's out here begging for money for a quarterback.
Watch one of these conference title games. It's nothing but Microsoft, Apple, Dr. Pepper ads. Where is that money going? Don't get me started. And there's so many commercials in college football. The games take 5 hours. Where is that money going? To some administrator somewhere? It's so unfair.
Speaking of which, we will be doing a Maggie and Perloff watch-along party virtually this weekend. SEC championship game. The Dr. Pepper thing made me think about it.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about we're going to have to, it's a college football game. We're going to have to kill a lot of time on the watch party for commercials because there's so many commercials.
I know, we're going to need a rundown. Anyway, that's going to start 4 o'clock Eastern time is when the game starts. So same place you watch the show now. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, Twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. Perloff will be slightly less cynical. I think while we're watching the game, we'll get
No. I'll be all over it. Although I do like the Heisman House commercials where
Yes,
Eddie
that's
George
fun.
tries to open the Wolverine. That's great.
What are you guys using to actually be on camera for this? Are we going to get up the nose iPhone Zoom footage?
It's going to look like when you're looking into a hotel, people.
All right.
It's going to be anything like that Maggie Hotel in Buffalo, Binghamton. That's going to be a little
Walleye
concerning.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
Maggie,
camera.
are you going to use a ring light and look nice?
No. I'm going to actually go to that hotel just to do this.
Will you be on your treadmill or the nursery again? What's the background setting?
Where should I be? I don't know.
Wait, what do we do with our families? I've actually wondered. This is a
I'm
watch
banishing
party.
mine from our house.
I mean, I'm going into the back room, which is an office/podcast studio. So they will be sequestered, though. I'm going to try to make Lita make an appearance. My dog, Lita, named after the great wrestler Lita.
Clearly.
I really want her to make an appearance. I don't know if she'll be willing, but I'm going to try to make it happen.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. My 13-year-old and 11-year-old are way more interesting than me, so I think I should bring them on camera.
Honestly, I think we should have your daughters come in and do like either some kind of
TikTok dance?
Well, that, or I was going to say like some kind of top 5 list for us about what's cool right now, or maybe a little Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce breakdown, something.
You have a kid who's obsessed with my tortoise.
Yeah, I do.
So I'll bring the tortoise out when, this is going to be a family affair. The game is 5 hours. We're going to have to come up with some things here, guys.
Well, you and I will be TikTok dancing by the end.
We can. I can do a whole tortoise segment. My daughter desperately wants one, so you
Okay.
can either tell us
take
to get
Perloff's.
one or not at all.
We actually don't really even want you here for the watch party.
I know.
folks.
I've felt that. It's not been mentioned to me once.
I'm
It's
totally
cool.
joking, dude. Of course.
No, I'm out.
No, please come to the. Don't make us beg.
Can you
5 hours, please.
Can you come in every hour and do headlines?
By the way, let me look at the. Are you calling any games this weekend?
I have a game on Sunday, but Saturday
Oh.
afternoon is my son's 10th birthday party, so I can do a live check-in from the sports place that we're going to be playing.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you're either doing batting cages or trampoline place.
Yep. Pizza, cupcakes, and hopefully nobody breaks a bone playing flag football.
There definitely will be someone vomiting, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Pizza and football,
yes.
that's at that age.
No doubt.
Ugh.
Hopefully that's all it is a little puke.
That's true.
No bleeding, nobody getting. Somebody broke an arm at a party recently. We don't need any of that.
Oh, man.
No
God, I
thanks.
remember the sitting around at a birthday party. You've never heard more awkward dad sports talk in your life than when you go to those birthday parties.
Do you also know that pulling up to a kid's birthday party in the suburbs, everyone's got the same car?
Oh,
Pulling
really?
the parking lot.
Oh, yes.
Everyone's got the same car. It might be like a different maker model, and someone's driving a Mercedes.
Right,
a BMW,
same idea.
Someone's driving a Hyundai.
SUV.
It's all the same SUV, and they're all lined up. And because everyone generally has the same license plate, all like the same state, it's like, what? We're sheeple.
Yeah, and when I lived in Lehigh Valley, there was like kind of a big field / playground / soccer field that's near where we live. So there was always these, gatherings where people would go out for a run, or I go out for a run or whatever, and I go and what you see is essentially just clones of the same cars, the same birthday balloons.
Yep.
It was like the same thing over and over and over again throughout your morning or afternoon, and it's
Same
wild.
pizza, same
Yep.
cupcakes.
Yep.
It's all the same. And yet we do it.
Yeah, you definitely have to check in from the 10-year-old birthday
Yeah.
party,
Yeah.
bogus. That'd be hysterical.
What time are you guys starting? 4?
For SEC title game.
I think we're over before then, but maybe so you can get a full post-game recap. My kid can give you the whole rundown of the games they played and who won and who was MVP.
The other thing with the kids' birthday parties, you better not go 1 second over your allotted time, or it is your ass.
Yeah.
We got another birthday party. We got Caleb, your birthday party's over. Billy, in. It's like a factory.
The bowling alleys are the most aggressive. They will just shut down your little lane. Like, you'll see bars coming over the screen,
It's
bars
like
on the
Suge Knight taking Vanilla Ice and putting them over the railing. Like they will threaten your life.
It's a unique power because you can't just close the basketball court, but you can literally turn off the alley.
Yes.
Right. And it's crazy because the
power
one
down. It's like,
and the one right
get
next to
out.
you is like fully operational and looks totally fine. Meanwhile, yours again, there's like it's like Alcatraz now. It's 1 minute past 6 p.m.
D block.
I can't get over Suge Knight. Oh, Vanilla Ice. That's such a perfect analogy for anything. Extreme behavior.
We got to go. We leave you no time for these headlines.
It
What's
doesn't
wrong
matter.
with us?
Nobody cares about Kevin Durant.
No, not right now. 855-212-4CBS. A lot more to do. We get you the latest on Colorado Deion Sanders next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
That's why no one.
Gray, Andrew Perloff, morning show here on CBS Sports Radio. Take a quick detour from sports for a moment because Andrew Bogish works on our show. He's got his kid's 10-year-old birthday party this weekend. And we were talking about kids' birthday parties in general and how if you are having it at like a sports complex, a play place, a bowling alley, whatever, you go 1 second over your allotted time and they will charge you. They will harass you. Basically, they will shut the whole facility down. They'll pull the fire alarm, anything. Sean in Oregon claims that he has a way to get away with extra time at a birthday party. Good morning, Sean.
Hey, good morning, you guys. I'm not telling you about an extra way to get away with extra time. I'm saying be polite and clean up before your allotted time. If they say to be out by 9 o'clock, start cleaning up about 8:30. You don't stay at the bar till they turn the lights on and call last call, do you?
Used to.
What year?
Well, I mean, that's just a childish stuff. And you're an adult. You're supposed to set an example for the kids. So set an example for the kids and clean up before it's time to go. And then so maybe they don't do that when they get adults and go to the bar.
Wait, but hold on. Sean, whether you clean up or not, they're so strict with the time. You're getting thrown out of there either way.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
So don't wait till the very end.
Oh, okay. You're just saying, yeah, but see.
No, I think you should maximize your time of fun and let them do the cleaning then in that case,
what are
Sean.
you paying for?
Oh, I mean, I understand that. I mean, I'm cleaning up. You know, I do the cleanup. I help a friend. My friend has a business, does these events.
Yeah.
And I help security and I help do the cleanup and all that. People don't mind doing that. But some people are just a little extreme. Some people actually make a mess.
Well, you don't want to make a mess like for the sake of it, and just try to rub it in. But I'm with Perloff. I think you start cleaning up your party a half an hour before it's over. You're sending the message to people it's time to go when it might not be time to go, right? So I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Thank you, Sean.
So, go Ducks, you guys. It's a big weekend.
Yeah, good luck.
I know. How you feeling, dude?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident. I think we should have had this game last time. I think a good college team gets better and better every week, and that's what this team's doing. Good teams do that.
Meanwhile, on the other side, yes.
I mean, some teams you get injuries, things happen, but in any other team, a team gets better every year, every week.
Sean, thank you, and enjoy the game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Is there a thought, and I've seen this now a couple places, that maybe Michael Penix is not exactly 100%? I mean, his numbers have been steadily dipping, and do we think that perhaps he's playing with an injury? Is that line up to 10 points, I think?
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody pick Washington in this game. Well, Penix, obviously, the reason he's at Washington now, not in the NFL, is because he's got at least one arthritic knee. He's got major knee problems. So I assume that's it. But there's also this sense of luck. They've had... I think you hear this a lot in the NFL. All the metrics people say they've had good luck. Good luck runs out. So how many bounces are going to go? How many Oregon missed a field goal? That's not going to happen again. If you play out the odds, but it almost makes me think that Washington has a chance because I have not heard a single expert pick Washington to win this game.
Well, I do think a lot of people agree with Sean. It's like Oregon probably should have won that game the first time around.
Definitely.
And you always talk about how tough it is to beat the same team twice in a season, but also like.
Yeah, that's
true. That Oregon's
true.
going to be so motivated and has been motivated by that loss. And you can see because they are just whomping on people.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. But then again,
they also haven't played a lot of.
They haven't played exactly. It's hard to tell with the way college football schedules are. Obviously, the formula is simple for Washington. Just Penix drops back, throws it 40 yards in the air to Roma Dunze, and you got to triple team that dude or he's going to kill you. And they have another receiver. So I'm excited for this game. I hope it becomes a wild shootout that actually does go down the end. It's not a 10-point game. Just to see these two great quarterbacks who really, this has got to be their swan song. So I assume, I know everybody's eligible forever now, but this is it for Nix and Penix, right?
I think so, and I think for Nix, the Heisman's on the line for
sure. But I think Penix, I keep seeing, I saw the odds that Nix and Jay Daniels are high up. Penix beats Bo Nix on Friday. Why not Penix?
Maybe
His numbers are huge as well.
I bet he probably gets invited. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Quickly, Tom's in Youngstown, Ohio, wants to get on this birthday party conversation. Tom, I understand you used to run a convention center.
Yeah, I ran a convention center in the Cleveland Indians single A team. And I had exact times where the show's over.
Yep.
And the first couple years, I was strict as heck. And guess what? My schedule got a little shorter. So that was my way of saying, uh-oh. I let the people mill around and whatever. And
you had
such an idiot.
Crack the whip on people, and we're getting that.
I started that. That lost me shows. So that's what that'll get you in the long run.
There you go. Well, Tom, we're up against the top of the hour. Thank you. Yeah, kick people out. They're not going to want to come back and put their birthday party there anymore. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Dion next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She can put away a large pizza by herself. He's allergic to cheese. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
I got to tell you, I like this version of Tom Brady. I really do. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio. You know, for so long, we got buttoned up Brady. And you understand why, right? 20 years, 21, I guess, in the league. And all of his press conferences, I think, were rather boring.
Oh, the worst.
Right. He would never tell us what he's thinking. Well, now that he's removed from the game, he's going to get into the booth. He's going to do the broadcasting. And we're getting Brady's real thoughts on what the NFL is like. And he has the gravitas where when he talks, we should all listen, right?
Although he does sometimes, he can be a shill for TB12 products. Don't listen to that.
Okay, yes, well.
No, when he says eat avocado ice cream, don't listen to that.
Yes.
But when he talks football, we should listen.
That's when we should listen. And I think when Tom Brady starts calling out things about the league, I think it has a lot of merit. And it feels like one of the big things that he's been talking about lately on multiple podcasts has been coaching. And he believes that coaching back when he started playing, so I guess he's talking about college and the pros, like in the early 2000s, is much better than it is today. And not just coaching, but also having a little more patience with coaches. So let's hear a little of Tom Brady. First, can we hear about him talk about continuity, about how that's the most important thing, not just for coaching, but business and everything?
I think the important part about firing and hiring and all this is continuity is the key of the NFL and business. And the more you have continuity, the more you can build on things over the course of years. It's hard to cover, if you look at football in particular, it's hard to cover the amount of situations that come up every week, in a game, start a game, end of quarters, how to use your timeouts, end of half times, critical third down situations, critical red area plays. Situational football, all these things need to be built up, these reps in practice, talked about in meetings, time and time and time again.
Right. So Brady basically saying, you've got to allow a little bit of grace here, and we don't do that with coaches because they're getting fired all the time. We, on average, have 7 to 8 different coaches in the NFL every single year. He's got a problem with it. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue the flip side is that they're not holding on to bad coaches like they used to. So you can't have a crappy coach. Even nowadays, I don't think it's 5 years later, but I don't think Jason Garrett would hold on as long as he did. So I think you could argue you get stuck in a mediocrity chain, which used to happen all the time. When I was a kid, I was like, why is this guy still the coach of this team? So maybe that churn helps in a way too. I understand what Brady's saying. I kind of agree with him. But you have to remember, he came from a place that was stable for years. Not all franchises are like that. Not all franchises have Bill Belichick. So what if he did get drafted by Arizona, his famous hypothetical, and he had a crappy coach? If you hold on to that guy, isn't it bad?
Well, I don't know. I think he's saying we don't know whether these guys are really good or really bad because it's not like he's been there, Jason Garrett, who gets basically a decade with the Dallas Cowboys, and then you figure out, hey, wait a minute, we're not progressing in the way we want to. I mean, Frank Reich gets fired 11 games into the season, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was doing a terrible job, so I have no problem with that.
Or other coaches who get given up on so fast, like Brady is saying, pump the brakes on all of that. But I think the question is, do you actually think the coaching today is worse or better than it was 20 years ago?
Can I ask a question? Is Brady talking about the fact that there's so much less practice time because of the CBA?
I think he's talking about two things. I think he's talking about less practice time, and I think he's talking about development of players, right? And we're not developing because we're quick to give up on quarterbacks as well, if they don't pan out. And to me, I think that Brady, here's what he's saying, in my opinion. He's saying the coaching is better back then, and the play is better back then, right? He called the NFL mediocre now because he had to do real strategy, which was he knew he couldn't throw over the middle because Ray Lewis would take out one of his best receivers, and he had to adjust for that. You don't have to do that anymore. The rules have made it so that it is a lot easier, I think, to play offense in this league. That's how the NFL wanted it. They want more touchdowns. They want more offensive explosion. And so you don't actually have to, you aren't a better coach now. It might look a little bit better, but you've been helped so much by the rules being changed that the coaching and the fundamentals and all the stuff they did 20 years ago is better than today.
But I don't understand because sports evolve, right? Every coaching in every sport gets better by definition because you get to learn everything that happened before you and keep on putting wrinkles and wrinkles and wrinkles. So today's coaches have all the brilliance of those earlier coaches. They can use all their plays and then add more adjustments and more adjustments and more adjustments. So by definition, I think coaches get better. And not only that, I think coaches have gotten younger, smarter, more diverse. I know that's going slowly, but I just think they're coming from a wider pool. They finally woke up. It was like somebody put smelling salt under the NFL coaches, said you can use what is working in college. You can start using that. I just think by definition, coaching has to be better because of all these outside factors have made it a much more, there's so many more ideas coming to the sport than there were 25 years ago. 25 years ago, it was hand the ball off first and second down and then pray on third down. Right. All over the league. Well, now you see motions from Sean McVay and Mike McDaniels that you don't even know if that's legal or not. There's so much brilliant coaching going on.
I'm glad you mentioned about the college game versus the pro game. And Tom Brady addressed that on the Let's Go podcast. Can we hear cut 3, please, Ryan, about the pro game now reflecting college? He doesn't like it.
The pro game is reflecting more of what the college game is, as opposed to the college game reflecting what the pro game is. We're asking now pro players to play college football. And that's the biggest difference I see. This is way more checkers now than it is chess.
So he's saying that it's simplified. Like you're saying that it's concepts, build on concepts, build on concepts. Brady is making it seem like, no, this is more simple college game. It's not, again, it's not the coaching is better. That's not what he's saying. He's saying it's just more like the college game and everything is pretty much dumbed down.
Ooh, I don't know. It sounds like an old man take. And I think a lot of players say this, my time was better. It's just.
But Brady's time was like 2 years ago
still. If you looked at, I was thinking about the 90s and the way they played college football in the 90s.
Yeah.
Looks archaic now.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, the way they play pro football.
Yes.
I watched it recently. It was, I think, a Brett Favre versus the Cowboys game. I'm like, oh my God. This is just smash football. There's no strategy going on here. And, they basically didn't even really seem to care if they got in the end zone because they were just going to beat each other up. Can you imagine? That was 30 years ago, right? 1993, 30 years ago. Compare what they had compared to 30 years before that and Vince Lombardi and the Packers. They were basically running such an antiquated version of football.
Right.
So football becomes so much more complex and so much better offensively. Every generation, basically Bill Walsh came in and changed everything. And then everyone took Bill Walsh's and built on that. And then Mike Shanahan came in and changed everything. And then everyone took that and evolved that. So basically, I'm just saying that today's coaches really have such an advantage over the old coaches because they can learn from them and make better plays. So right now, the plays that guys are running, like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, are so much more complex and so much more effective than what Bill Belichick was running in 2000.
Okay, but I'm saying if you had all those coaches from 30 years ago with these rules, the offense might look just as good. You just couldn't have like bone-crushing hits that we were celebrating at the time that we don't celebrate as much anymore. You could have all that stuff, and Brady is telling you that it's simpler now. It's dumbed down. It's not more complex.
Yeah, I see what he's saying, but I just see a different product on the field. You're telling me when you watch Miami Dolphins and everyone's moving around and you don't know where the ball's going, that's simpler? Because it feels like the defenses are also very, very sophisticated in a way they never used to be. I just think the game seems way more complex to me. Maybe I'm a sucker and maybe I'm buying what the coaches say because all the coaches talk like they're doing rocket science.
Yes, with brain surgery on top of it.
I mean, honestly, what kind of coaching does it need? Okay, Ray Lewis, you just completely, try and knock this guy out of the game, or the old just try and kill the quarterback.
Right.
Doesn't seem like you even need a coach for that. Just, hey, Lawrence Taylor, I know the great genius Bill Belichick. Lawrence Taylor, we're going to unleash you on the quarterback.
Just do 3 rails of cocaine, and then we're going to need you
I don't think Lawrence Taylor listen to single
chase
coaches.
Joe Theismann.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It just it feels to me like Smash Mouth football is a little simpler. So I'm very confused by what Brady's saying. I do understand in college they hold up a sign with 4 plays and you choose one of them and you go for it. But I do think these coaches today are smarter than they were before. I just think there's so much evidence of that.
I think we need a poll here, EJ. Do you agree with Tom Brady is coaching better 20 years ago than it is today? What do you think? What do you think, EJ?
I think, well, first of all, I do think the rules make a big difference here. I think the fact that you have to think about player safety, you have to think about the fact that your receivers can't get off the line as quickly. There's so much that helps the offense right now. But I have a question for Perloff because I think this is really interesting. So you're saying the coaching today is so much better.
Yeah.
What would happen if you took a really good offensive coach today, and let's say we talked about the Packers earlier, they won the Super Bowl in 1996. What would happen if we put that coach with his philosophy, we put him in 1996? How would that coach do? Against like the Packers
rules would be a bit of a problem, but I think they would kill them. Because first of all, I think it's like when Bill Walsh came in the NFL, everyone's like, what is this West Coast offense? And they won 14 games a year because nobody knew how to defend that. If you showed an RPO to Wayne Fonts, I think he would honestly go into the locker room crying. If you had a quarterback rollout, and you don't need a mobile quarterback to do an RPO. Nick Foles was great at it. I think you would screw up defenses because they wouldn't know how to adjust. And then there was a play earlier this year where Tyreek Hill went in motion and then he just kept running. Nobody seemed to know what to do with that. You have all these little tricks.
Why wasn't that illegal, by the way?
Because there's so many tricks now, and the defense has gotten so much more complicated. There was Tampa 2, and then there's just so many more different tricks
Amoeba defense.
And by the way, there's one thing that you haven't thought of.
The tush push?
The tush push. Bring the tush push into 1996. Are you kidding me? You have 4th and 1. The other thing, too, guys know now, like the dumbest thing for years, fans knew, go for it on 4th down more. Now coaches know that. That's a huge advantage. There's so many little advantages that they've learned over the years that I think if you gave a similar team to Mike McDaniel's in the 90s, I think he would blow away those teams because they wouldn't know what was going to hit them.
Very interesting. Yeah, if you put Mike McDaniel in a time machine and stuck him back in 1996, could he take the worst team in the NFL and beat the Packers?
Yeah,
something like that.
When you think about that, I mean, the worst team in 1996 is a team we talked about a lot today. They might be the worst team we're watching today. It was the New York Jets. They won one.
Yeah, but they had Rich Kotite. That's a great old school coach. No, I mean, I'm saying he was so non-innovative as an offensive coach. That probably was a decent team with a terrible coach.
So they did have Keyshawn Johnson. They did have Wayne Corbett. Do you think that Mike McDaniel could beat the Super Bowl champion Packers from 96?
Yes.
If he had
give him a month to teach
with the
him.
1-in-15 Jets of 1996. It's a fun what if.
Bill Walsh took over the Niners in 81, and he did not have a talented team, but he schemed them to so many wins. I think you could scheme that Jets team past the Packers.
Can I give you another Brady cut? Because I thought this one was very interesting too, and it's about coaches needing to trust their quarterbacks. Can we hear cut 1, Ryan?
Because coaches aren't really trusting the quarterbacks much. They're trying to control the game from the sideline. When you try to control the game from the sideline, the coach doesn't have every answer for what's happening on the field. Ultimately, I always felt as a quarterback, I had all the things at my disposal to get us into a good play.
It's an interesting one for Brady. Now, this one you could say, okay, this is the greatest of all time, telling us that he has a better understanding of the offense than the coach. So maybe it's just for the elite quarterback who could say this, but is that true? Are coaches nowadays, who Perloff thinks are much better than when Brady first started, just not trusting their quarterback? Because Brady used an example there. You can go to the huddle and you call me for me to throw a deep pass to Randy Moss. I get to the line. I see that they're ready for that. The coverage is there. If I run that play, I'm getting sacked. And I need to be able to audible off of that. I need to have the empowerment. Meanwhile, some quarterbacks today do not have that empowerment because the coach is so micromanaging the game.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, Peyton Manning comes to mind, too, as a guy who would often
He said, I did it, Peyton did it. He said, he listed off. He said, Aaron Rodgers did it. He said, Phillip Rivers did it.
I mean, those are
and Drew Brees.
I mean, come on.
But still.
That's the other thing too. Like you think of the coaches, he knew Bill Belichick when he got into the league. It used to be such an old boys network. It was just the same old crappy coaches being. Who were the Bills coaches in 2000? It was probably Dick Duran and the 7 other guys who couldn't figure out anything. I'm looking at the list of coaches. The other thing too, they were not physically appealing men back then. Coaches used to look way different.
Yeah.
But it was just like a ton of retreads back then. I'm looking at the coaches that year. Al Groh in 2000 when Brady came in the league. Al Groh, Jim Haslett, Dennis Green, Dave Wanstead, Gunther Cunningham. I mean, it was kind of like the same
Dave
guys.
Wanstead's a snack.
That
mustache?
Well, that
It's like Tom
Selleck. That duster is undefeated.
But, so
I'm just saying, it just used to be a much more stale group of coaches in my mind.
Well, Thomas L's in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. He said Bill Walsh took over the 49ers in 1979, not 1981. Win-loss record the first 2 years, 2-14 and then 6-10. Would he have gotten fired? Maybe not off a 6-10 season.
That's actually a good point. That's an interesting
point. You can't go 2-14 anymore. I mean, maybe if your team's irrelevant and your fans aren't clamoring. That's the other part. There's rabbit ears too. Like, the fan bases. It's probably not. It's probably just as rabid as it was, but it's just so easy to get your opinion out now. And to voice that opinion, the owner hears it. I mean, why do you think David Tepper has fired 3 coaches since he bought the team in 2018? You don't think he's listening to the outside noise? He definitely is.
Well, I mean, listen, the Bengals got lucky that they didn't fire their coach after he was one.
They kept on. They held Marvin Lewis for forever. Couldn't win a playoff game. Would that even happen now?
So yeah, but the Niners. He just said it. They were 2-14, and Walsh took over. They were 2-14, 6. Going from 2-14 to 6-10.
It's a big improvement.
That's a big improvement. So
it's a good enough job.
But that actually is a good point. They do fire guys quickly, but come on, that Frank Reich in Carolina was not Bill Walsh taking over the Niners.
Wow. 855-212-4CBS. Do you agree with Tom Brady that the coaching was better then than now? Or do you agree with Perloff that the coaching is way better now? You have institutional knowledge, all the history, all the concepts,
Coaching evolved. By the way, I'll take that to any sport. You put a modern coach in any sport into a game 30 years ago. Remember, 1993, if you look 30 years back, Curly Neal or whatever, there's some old school coaching is so much more advanced. It just goes leaps and bounds every generation.
I think the athlete is way more advanced.
No, it's the schemes, I think. Because the sport, think about old-timey football. They had no idea what was going on. They didn't know you could pass on first down.
I mean, but not to, J.J. Redick would say plumbers and firemen, you had different rules, way more physical, and the athlete was also not as physical. You are not as they were definitely physical. I'm not saying that Jack Youngblood wasn't physical, but I'm just saying the athlete has evolved so much.
But the sport was so conservative back in the day. And maybe because your quarterback could get killed if you drop back too many times. But still, this whole analytic idea that if you pass on first down, it's a lot easier than passing on 3rd and 10. So I think all that information would help a modern coach.
855-212-4CBS. You can go vote at Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. Should we update our other poll? We'll do that when we come back. Aaron Rodgers related poll question. Get to that. Is he high right now? Yes, no. I'm just kidding.
Yes. I'm smashing a yes button on that question.
8:17 in the morning. Why not? 855-212-4227. We kid. We just joke around here. Coming up. Perloff, are you ready?
Yeah, hit me.
Okay. Are you ready to do your thing next?
I'm definitely ready.
Okay.
I think. It depends what thing we're talking about.
Perloff's ready to go.
Not a Denver thing.
No. Perloff's got his top 5.
Juicy.
A top 5, juicy top 5 list for you next. That's all we're going to give you.
Juicy.
855-212-4CBS. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Thursday Night Football preview is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. This week's Thursday Night Football matchup has the 6-5 Seahawks going to Dallas to take on the scorching hot Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are still looking for their first win with a team over 500. They have not beat a winning team yet. I did not know that. And they'll have a good shot to do it tonight. The Seahawks are struggling. They're 8.5-point favorites on FanDuel. For the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker is doubtful with an oblique injury. I still don't know what an oblique is. You guys claim that you do. In part because I don't have obliques. Like, you can't see my obliques. I'm sorry, I'm not shredded like all of you guys.
Well, we've all been doing crunches without you.
Dallas get a lot of eyeballs probably, but why is it that the Seahawks feel like a weak opponent even though they are 6-5?
Injuries, I guess. I mean, is Geno 100%? No. Kenneth Walker still out.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's something about Geno is supposed to be much healthier, is what everyone is saying. It just feels like they've lost their mojo. It is going to be a gigantic let's celebrate Dak Prescott night. If you don't like Dak Prescott, do not tune in tonight.
Well, this is the thing about being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. You get lots of primetime games, and so you get lots of chances with everyone watching.
Yeah,
I'm curious about this.
Thanksgiving.
This is the first, that Thanksgiving game like blew the doors off of regular season games in terms of viewership. Is this the first time the Cowboys are on Amazon Prime?
It feels like it to me. I don't remember Al Michaels doing the Cowboys.
Second season of Amazon Prime doing Thursday night. If this is the first Cowboys, I'm curious to see if there's an uptick at all about this, Cowboys still America's team type thing. Two things that we've learned about Andrew Perloff, things that Perloff loves.
What?
Mock drafts
and
redrafts.
Yeah.
Cheesesteaks, obviously.
Yep.
And rumors about quarterbacks in the transfer portal.
Yeah. Oh.
You cannot skip a conversation about this.
I would stop in my car for any trade rumor or any transfer portal rule. And that's what transfer portal is. It's free agency. Let me give you 5 that I said that stopped me in my tracks.
Okay, hold on. So we're going to do Andrew Perloff's top 5 quarterback transfer portal rumors. Is that even the real thing?
Yep.
All right, can we get some music? Oh, I love it. Classic.
Okay, tell me, guys, if you agree. Like, this isn't even a rumor anymore. Everyone is just assuming this is a done deal. Duke's Riley Leonard going to Notre Dame. The way I'm reading it, it's like basically he's at Notre Dame. So, obviously, emerging star got hurt this year. Notre Dame has their guy. This worries me. If it does happen in this rumor, they had an ACC guy last year with Sam Hartman, which was really good, and that didn't win them anything. Why is Riley Leonard any different?
I don't know. Also, is he really a good passer?
Yeah, I mean, he's good. He was going to be. He was a first-round prospect coming into the year. Yeah, he's a pretty good passer. He's much bigger than Sam Hartman, obviously.
Yeah, but he was more like a. Well, yeah. I don't know. Is there anyone else who could sneak into this conversation?
Well, okay, yes. Well, let me do my second one that I like. Will Howard, Kansas State, led them to the conference title last year. Kind of iffy this year. So he's a physical specimen, much more so I think than Riley Leonard. He has been linked strongly to Ohio State. So basically Kyle McCord would have competition. I don't know for sure that he would start there, but he would definitely be in the mix because Ohio State's got to get, but he's also been linked to Notre Dame as well.
Wait, hold on. You don't think doesn't it feel like a done deal that Ohio State's going to bring someone in?
They're going to bring someone in, but does a Will Howard definitely beat out Kyle McCord? I don't think that, and also Devin Brown's still there. So I'm not sure. Knowing the system, does that help you so much? And we've seen Will Howard play. Does he pop off the screen so much that he has to blow away Kyle McCord?
No, but if Ohio State had a better quarterback this year, do they beat Michigan? Probably.
Yeah, I agree. Probably, although Michigan had that advantage where they could run the ball and keep it out of their hands. All right, third rumor. Grayson McCall. Do you remember the pandemic? Remember when a young man out of Coastal Carolina named Grayson McCall took over the world? That was 3 years ago when Coastal Carolina was a thing. And then they played Zach Wilson and BYU on TV, and Coastal Carolina won. Grayson McCall, future pro. He's in the transfer portal again. First of all, I can't believe he's still playing college football. But
that's an evergreen about some
the
of these
report
guys.
is that he was a done deal to go to Auburn last year as their quarterback.
Okay.
So he pulled out of the transfer portal the last second last year. I don't know if you remember that headline. He was supposed to be in the portal. He came back. So now everyone is penciling him. Auburn needs a quarterback. Grayson McCall, who feels like a fit for Auburn to me. Grayson McCall is famously country. He's from the smallest town of any quarterback ever.
Okay.
I feel like that is a done deal. So I love that one. Grayson McCall to Auburn. Okay. My last transfer portal rumor, which isn't even out there yet.
Okay, we're starting the rumor.
Yes.
I love it.
Are you breaking news?
No. This is a rumor. There is a rumor that he'll transfer. But this is my guy. Texas quarterback Malik Murphy. Top 10 quarterback prospect. He is stuck between Quinn Ewers, who might come back next year to Texas, and a young fellow named Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Now, if you have just logically, is there any way he's not entering the transfer portal? There's a report that he turned down millions in last year's transfer portal. The way it's developing with Ewers coming back, he is going to be out there, and I think he's going to be the prize of this transfer portal class. I have a match for him.
Who's that?
Sit behind Shedeur Sanders for 1 year and go to DEION. Why not just start the Colorado process right now? Malik Murphy to Colorado. Who's with me? Anyone with me?
First of all, are you trying to get the poor man killed? Because that's what's going to happen in Colorado if they don't get a better offensive line.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Shedeur Sanders has a fracture in his back. That's not great. And I'm not going to Colorado at all if they can't fix that offensive line. If I'm Malik Murphy, I'd rather go to Ohio State or something. Go somewhere where they're putting guys in the NFL on the offensive line.
That's not a bad idea. Okay, I'm sorry. That was 4. The 5th one is the one who's actually getting the most press of anyone is Washington State's Cam Ward.
Yep. Huge
numbers this year. He's 4th in the country in passing. Graduate, transfer. Look at these teams that are linked to this dude. This is widely reported. Miami, EJ's Hurricanes. Ohio State. Texas A&M, who's going to get a quarterback. Washington, who's going to replace Penix. And Auburn is in on every school. Cam Ward, and also it's not reported here, but someone told me Louisville is after Cam Ward as well. That dude's going to make $10 million to go somewhere. EJ, I asked you, would you take Cameron Ward, formerly of Incarnate in San Antonio, would you want him at Miami of Florida?
I mean, sure, but the Miami quarterback situation has been a mess forever, pretty much, since Ken Dorsey left. I guess I've lost so much hope. I've lost so much hope for that position. There used to be quarterback you had Dorsey, Bernie Kosar, so many great quarterbacks at Miami. They got Gino Toretto, Vinny Testaverde.
Wait, that was one great quarterback, by the way.
We're going back pretty far.
You said Ken Dorsey and Vinny Testaverde. Spot the second great quarterback out of that
Jim
list.
Kelly. I mean, we could
Ken
go
Dorsey
all
lost
the way
one
back.
game, I think, as a starter or whatever. Look, I mean, it used to be quarterback you, and now it's not. I mean, we've had guys come in. I thought that Derrick Henry was great, so if Cam Ward can do that, fine. It's just, I'm so broken. I'm sorry. I'm so broken by what Miami's been in the last 20 years.
Tyler Van Dyke also in the portal.
Yeah, also Ohio State linked. We need to keep a tracker because these rumors are great. When it actually happens, it's going to be so boring. But right now, everybody is open to everybody. So I feel like if you're an Ohio State fan, you're out there scouting. If you're a Notre Dame fan, it does seem like they're strong on Riley Leonard. You're out there scouting. Auburn, Miami for sure, Louisville. There's so many great spots here. And now, EJ and I had this argument. If you're not a transfer quarterback, then who are you? I mean, because the top 3 Heisman finalists are big-time transfers. It does not matter where you start. It's where you finish.
Definitely. And you could go to 3 different schools now,
Yeah,
easily. But I think also interesting, like, is KJ Jefferson. There's some interesting dudes who are going to be out there. Well, we love that. Top 5 transfer portal rumors. We'll keep updating that. Andrew Bogish is here with headlines. Good morning.
Hello again, guys. Kevin Durant was back after missing a couple of games with a sore foot. He scored 30 last night, but the Suns lost in Toronto 112-105, ending their 7-game win streak.
It's always good to get win streaks. It's always good to have good momentum going into games. So we're looking forward to this next one at home. Been on the road for a couple games. It felt like 2 weeks we've been on the road, so it'll be good to get back home. Looking forward to coming in and welcoming the reigning champs and see who we are as a team.
That game with the Nuggets is tonight. Last night, Denver, a 134-124 winner over the Rockets. Nikola Jokic had 32, 10 rebounds, 15 assists. He shot 12 of 19 from the floor. It's his 3rd career game of 30, 10, 15, and a field goal percentage over 60, the most of such games in NBA history.
I have a question for you guys who think that it's a good idea for Aaron Rodgers to rush back onto the field.
Yeah.
How many titles has Kevin Durant won since he blew out his Achilles? And didn't he rush back from a calf injury to play in the finals? I think you could do serious long-term damage, and I don't think Kevin Durant's been anywhere near the same player since he tore his Achilles. So, and he took 2 years to get back on the field. I think Aaron Rodgers has a similar fate where he's just going to be problematic the rest of his career.
Okay. Kevin Durant's 7 feet tall and has to jump for a living.
Aaron Rodgers is going to sit behind the Jets' offensive line, which is more dangerous.
EJ, didn't Durant come back from the Achilles and almost win a playoff series by himself?
Yeah, I actually think that, Perloff, you went the wrong take here. I mean, Kevin Durant's initial recovery is proof why Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be going out there. Like, he took basically 2 years. First year he came back. Has he been banged up? Sure. But his production was really good. Like, as long as you take your time. Kevin Durant showed the blueprint how to come back from the Achilles. You may not never be the same, but you could still be a really great player. Aaron Rodgers is going completely rogue here.
Well, I think it's a similar blueprint in the sense that somebody with an Achilles injury is going to submarine another hopeless New York franchise, just like Kevin Durant did the Nets. No, I do think
Kyrie played a little bit of a role in submarining that franchise.
Well,
James Harden.
I just think that Rodgers is holding the franchise hostage with this. Like, they're stuck with this iffy health situation forever, kind of like Kevin Durant has been problematic. And I know Kevin Durant has been productive, but really, has it helped the teams that he's been on? I don't think so.
The Grizzlies won their first home game last night on their 9th try, 105-91 over the Jazz, and the Lakers sent the Pistons to a franchise record 15th consecutive loss, 133-107. Detroit has scored at least 100 in each loss, something that has never happened before in NBA history. If we're being honest, Tommy DeVito is ruining the NFL draft for the Giants. Cool story. He's Italian. He's from Jersey. Does the hand thing. But 2 wins in a row means no realistic chance at a top 2 pick, Caleb Williams or Drake May. But the love is real. 2 nights ago, Giant fans lined up for hours to meet DeVito at a hoagie shop in Jersey.
It's so good.
I believe people even had him sign actual sandwiches, which I can't condone because deli sandwiches are as good as they get, and you cannot waste one by putting Sharpie on it.
Well, I think he was also signing things Tommy Cutlets.
Yes, or just TD. Or his full name. There were pictures, doing the hand gesture with him.
Yeah, the Paisan.
But again,
forget about it, hand gesture. What are we calling that thing?
He doesn't have a name for it.
I think it's the Paisan, isn't that?
Is
that what you call it?
I think
Sunday
so.
after the game, he was asked about it, and he just kept going. It's like he was making a noise to describe it.
I get that.
Yeah.
It's the
yeah.
I mean, is he the worst player to ever get like overnight fandom? Like, I mean, like he has won one game. His team scored 10 points?
I mean, there's always guys like this that we maybe just don't realize they're not happening around us. Like,
well, I gotta be honest. I watch him play. That dude can rip the ball. I actually have no idea why he wasn't a good college quarterback and why he was undrafted. I feel like he throws a nice football.
Well, also that game against the Raiders, they basically didn't have him throw. Remember, it was like you cannot throw the ball.
But the last couple games, he has thrown the ball,
Yeah, I know,
and he's been
won.
really. In fact, I understand what you're saying, EJ. It is crazy hype, and I'm sure they'll get tape on him and destroy him soon enough. And I do think it's the old Italian New York thing.
Oh yeah.
But I'm actually. I love my backup quarterbacks, but I feel like he's got a little talent.
Well, maybe he could parlay this to be like a backup quarterback for 10 years, and you can make $50 million and live your life. And have cutlets for everybody.
The story also about him was that apparently he turned down a lot of money to play for, or at least a lot more than he's making now, to play for the Commanders so that he could stay closer to home and play with the Giants.
Yeah, but you don't have to pay rent, This is heady play because he can stay at home.
So he would have had another job. I didn't even know that any team other than the Giants was going to get him. I did not know he was considered good enough to do that because he was not a good college player. He was at Illinois, right?
And then Syracuse.
Yeah. I think that, again, the physical tools you're talking about, Perloff, I think that, entice some people. And look, he's played really well the last 2 weeks. It just seems
well. He didn't. I don't think he played well this past Sunday. He played well in Washington.
Well,
he got jacked up real fast.
Yeah, well enough. It was just kind of what my point was originally. Was just that this guy's again one of the worst players probably in the NFL.
He's galvanizing like an entire ethnicity. I love that part about it.
That's awesome.
By
the way,
I mean, is it a little Jeremy Lin effect here?
So Lynn ended up getting paid, though.
Yeah, I mean, Lynn was better
player,
but was it a quick New York flash in the pan kind of thing?
I think Lynn's sanity's peak was way higher than what DeVito's doing.
Way higher. But DeVito's getting a lot of people do love this story. I think he's getting a lot of national attention.
So the Lynn thing turned, I think, to a certain level, won the game-winning shot against the Raptors, but particularly when they beat Kobe and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Kobe said, who is this guy? And then he scores 30, whatever, and they win. What would DeVito have to do to get to that level? He has to beat, they don't have the Cowboys in their schedule anymore.
They have both Eagle games.
They have the Eagles. I think if he can beat the Eagles.
Yeah, but you know who else beat the Eagles? Zach Wilson. And nobody gives a hoot.
That's that cold water on that. Cold water on this chicken parm, Maggie. Thank you.
Tommy DeVito doesn't have a Carmelo Anthony coming in and getting jealous and gutting his season.
Well,
Jeremy Lin.
Don't count
I'm
out
sorry.
Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes doesn't come in and be like, I'm the only one with the nickname around here. I'm the only crappy quarterback with a nickname around here. What else you got, Buck?
Cowboys Seahawks are up first this week. The game's in Dallas tonight where the Cowboys have won each game by at least 20 points this season. Perloff mentioned this last hour. South Carolina QB Spencer Rattler and Clemson corner Nate Wiggins declare for the draft. Wiggins might be the best corner available.
Wait, did you guys see the big news?
No.
That Clemson actually got someone in the transfer portal? They put in for somebody?
And they got him.
I think they got an offensive lineman or something.
Wow.
I heard this.
There you go.
God told Dabo it was okay to use the portal?
Yes, came down. There's another tablet full of commandments that says you can now use the transfer portal. I think they got a guy.
The best meme, by the way, out there now is Dabo Swinney sprinting onto the field with RG3 running after him. Have you guys seen this?
No.
Oh, it is amazing. He's running past the rock, and he's just full on sprinting like he's a junior at Alabama. It's the best.
Okay, I'm sorry. They offered for an offensive lineman. It's a Division II offensive lineman.
Oh, come on, Maggie.
Is he from
Division
Dallas
II?
Baptist? Where's he from?
Shorter University, which is in Georgia. Alan Heron entered the portal November 16th, and they formally announced a scholarship offer from Clemson on Wednesday, according to thestate.com.
I'll be honest. I'm not
Progress.
the biggest. I'm not the biggest Dabo guy, but if they do indeed land this D2 offensive lineman, I'm gonna say that he's still holding firm and that he's not getting real transfers.
Oh, you think this is fake?
Yeah, no.
Or this doesn't count.
This is like giving a walk-on a scholarship to me. This is not the same as Oklahoma getting a kid from UCLA. Like, this is not the same.
Right, they're not getting
your-
Riley Leonard.
Right, exactly.
It's dipping your toe in, though. And to do it for an
Wait.
offensive lineman, I think is smart.
Have they never gotten I'm sorry, I
Well,
plead
that-
ignorance here.
that
They've
was like
never
the
used the
famous
transfer
thing.
portal. I thought that they just didn't use it enough. I didn't realize they never
Yeah.
ever used it before.
I don't know if the number is 0, but they are like at the bottom of the list of using it in
Okay.
America.
Yeah,
And there's no shorter university. You just made that up.
Then the
Shorter than who?
state.com.
Shorter
made
than
it
their
up.
rival?
Was that an onion?
I
Was that
mean-
an onion article, Maggie?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you come in with a basketball team named Shorter University, you're already at a gigantic disadvantage.
What's the spread in the Shorter University versus Duke game?
Yeah, I can
Against
scout Shorter
Hall
University.
College.
Yeah, they use small ball, obviously. Yeah.
Very good dad joke there. It's
You said short. You just blew through that part. That there's something called. That's like Tyson Badger being from Shepherd University.
we did think that was fake. It's from Small Hands U.
yeah. He's from less strong than my opponent college.
They're
Right
the
up the
Hawks,
nose.
by the way, at Shorter.
The Shorter Hawks.
The Shorter Hawks.
I feel like there's a
Have they
miss-
played for them?
They got to get Trey
They have
Young in
not.
there. Trey Young's got to do some kind of deal with them.
Yeah, right.
If this kid ends up being a great player at Clemson and they could talk about it, like
It's in Georgia. Shorter Hawks.
Shorter or Trey Young. What? Forget about him. Spud Webb.
Oh, he's right there.
Yeah, he's 5'5", one of the greatest shortest athletes of all time. One of the great debates we had a couple weeks ago, by the way.
It's true.
Get Spud Webb in there. Shorter Hawks. One of the greatest ever.
Man,
There you go.
They're missing an opportunity big time.
Yeah.
Oh, they're losing all their good
And
players.
they're
to
losing.
Clemson.
They're losing their own line to Clemson. This is maybe get a positive headline at Shorter for once.
Anything else?
No, I'm good for now.
I think that's good. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Yeah, sneaky athletic you. That's going to be the next one who comes into play. Okay, lots more to do, including, as we said, big game tonight. Big question about the Cowboys that we are going to answer next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio. It's a guy we keep tabs on every single day. It's our Daily Deion.
Daily. Do you believe that? Deion. You believe that?
All right, Perloff, a couple different things here. You saw something interesting about Deion Sanders.
Yeah, so Sports Illustrated every year does Sportsman of the Year, and I'm seeing the cover right now. Deion Sanders is the 2023 Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year, so there you go.
You know, interesting. When's the last time they had a coach as a Sports Person of the Year?
I can't remember. I wonder if had they ever had one?
I don't think Belichick ever won it. Obviously, Perloff and I both worked at Sports Illustrated for a long time. That's how we met.
Who would even be the other options? Belichick, not Popovich, not Nick Saban. Pat Riley. No, I can't think of anybody.
Pat Summitt, maybe?
Pat Summitt did win. And Coach K. They won together.
Oh, my gosh. We were both there in the building.
I literally interviewed both of them that night. Thank you, EJ, for reminding me of something I was... Actually, you know who did the emceeing of that Sports Person of the Year?
DP.
Dan Patrick himself. Okay.
Coach K right after comes up to him right before. Dan, you better not screw it up. My Coach K impersonation.
That's pretty good, actually. Okay, so Deion Sanders, Sports Person of the Year for Sports Illustrated. So that's always like the person of the moment.
But it's kind of funny because we're in the middle of a down moment for Deion Sanders, and this is a very positive moment. So the narrative feels a little bit mistimed.
Well, considering they lost the last 6 games, not bowl eligible, and have had multiple players decommit over the last couple days. You're right. In the little micro, like the little bit, this little window, whatever we're in, seems down for Deion, but overall, amazing year for Deion.
It does feel right, though, because he's transformed college football. The headline is that he's transformed a moribund program in Colorado. To me, it's way more than that. He's kind of changed the way we think about the sport in the sense that he's taken the transfer portal and exploded more transfers than I think we've ever seen at a major program. Also, it's made it more glamorous. His players are getting into commercials. He is all over the media. It's just different. I can't really describe how he's changed the sport, but more so than any other coach.
Yeah, maybe not since, I was going to say, like USC in the early 2000s in terms of actors and people on the sidelines and that sort of point. Hollywood. But it's not Hollywood. It's Boulder, Colorado, which has a lot of money and has become like one of the centers of the tech world. But still, it's not literally Los Angeles. Yeah, this is interesting, right? Because where does Deion go from here? There was an article in The Athletic. Now, take this for what it is because it was all anonymous sources and it was anonymous coaches in the Pac-12. So, again, take it for what it's worth. But they were predicting some kind of dark days ahead for Colorado.
Yeah, I know. But is that a college football thing? Yeah, I would predict dark days. If I was on the recruiting trail, I'd predict dark days for my rival as well.
But guys are decommitting, and we're not sure why. Now, there's a generous read on why guys are decommitting, generous to Deion, which is maybe people think he's leaving. And perhaps that's why they're decommitting is because people have gotten wind that Deion could be moving on to greener pastures.
Got to win from rival coaches. That's funny how that works.
Or, another sour grapes thing. Or negative recruiting. Or there's another read, which is one you and I talked about a couple days ago, which is you end your season on a 6-game losing streak. Are you not the hot thing anymore? Are you not the cool thing anymore? The reality sort of set in for Colorado.
Right. I think the sport has changed so much that 18-year-olds are almost irrelevant now. I know that sounds way too harsh, especially on the offensive and defensive lines, but why can't he just bring in another massive transfer portal class and start to build that way? I know they'll only be there 1 or 2 years, but just the fact that he won 4 games this year was something.
Amazing.
You cannot completely discount that because they were a terrible team before.
It was incredible. I mean, I get why he's Sports Person of the Year. It was a huge, huge accomplishment what he did at Colorado, no doubt.
Also, it's not the strongest year. There's nobody else who jumps to my, like, if you just top ahead, there's not somebody who stood out so much this year. He definitely got the most headlines.
Travis Kelce. Do you give it to him on a year? That would just be purely for clicks. Another thing about the Colorado program, which is former offensive coordinator Sean Lewis has gotten a new job. It's probably not surprising that he would leave, considering he got the play calling duties taken away from him midway through the season in favor of Pat Shurmur. Let's hear Sean Lewis, cut 5, please, Ryan, what he learned about promotion.
Coach Sanders does an unbelievable job of speaking belief into existence, right? That there's an unwavering belief in how he does things and the conviction that gave the whole team as we went forward. So those 2 lessons learned were invaluable from our time that we shared together, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that I had with him.
There you go. So Sean Lewis, who maybe could have been a little bitter about how things went down, definitely taking the high road there, which is, I would say, a very smart thing to do.
Yeah, but the funny thing about this staff is they don't need Sean Lewis because don't they have all these former NFL guys and big-time college? The fact that Sean Lewis left a head coaching job to go there.
Yep.
Deion, one thing, you could say he's losing recruits, but his ability to bring in veteran coaches is ridiculous. It's so bizarre. To me, it's almost bizarre. Why did these, like, why does Pat Shurmur want to be underneath Deion Sanders?
Oh, is Pat Shurmur in the NFL right now? No.
Yeah, it's just so funny. Like, he came out and he was a consultant on the team. The guy called plays for 10 years and comes in halfway through for a 4-loss college team. It speaks to the power of Deion to me.
So there is a little update on Deion Sanders. Let's hit the phones, 855-212-4CBS. George is in L.A. He's got a thought on one of the L.A. teams. Good morning, George.
Hey, good morning, Maggie and Perloff. I really enjoy you guys' conversation. But getting back to the Rams, I know Perloff's not big on them, but with McVay, you know, he has 19 rookies on his team, and they were expected to do nothing. And if they win this weekend and the Seahawks lose tonight, which I think they will, and Green Bay loses to Kansas City, they move in the final playoff spot, the NFC. And I'm not saying they're going to maintain it. But McVay, if he keeps going, he should get some credit for Coach of the Year. Thanks a lot.
He's been I've heard that. George's not the first person to mention that. Sean McVay is getting a lot of accolades because this team is so young that they're competitive. Now, like George said, I don't think they're going to keep this up. I think they have some tough games coming up.
Well, they're a 3.5-point favorite this weekend against Cleveland.
Tough. That's a tough game right there. Then they go to Baltimore the next week. I mean, do they look like the kind of team that can beat a real contender?
No, this Coach of the Year race, though, it's like Sean Payton, if they make the playoffs, maybe Sean McVay. I mean,
Mike McDaniel, I think.
Mike McDaniel, could it be Nick Sirianni?
Yeah. Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. If Dak wins MVP, don't you have to give it to McCarthy? Coming up, the one thing we don't agree on about Aaron Rodgers.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She once fell off a ski lift. He was called in for questioning. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
I do not understand the Aaron Rodgers backlash here. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio. Listen, you want to get on Rodgers being a little bit of a weirdo, being a little new age, whatever. I understand it. But getting on him, Perloff, for attempting this comeback from his Achilles surgery, 79 days after he had the surgery, he was at practice yesterday for the Jets. I see this as a very selfless act, actually. I see this as Rodgers, who is trying to push the boundaries of rehab, not only because modern medicine may allow him to do that, but also to show this dedication to his career, to the team, to himself.
To the team. Oh, yeah, right.
Listen, the Jets have done everything to kind of cater to Rodgers, and I think this is him giving it back to them, saying, hey, you believing in me was not for nothing. And just because I got hurt in the first game of the season doesn't mean I'm not doing my damnedest to come back. And if
come back for what?
If the doctors say it's okay, then why are we begrudging him this moment?
This is such a selfish move. This is such a me move. To come back only helps one person, Aaron Rodgers. It does not a single thing for your franchise. In fact, it puts your huge investment, not just in draft capital, but in money, at risk for no reason. There's nothing positive that can happen for the Jets franchise, only negative. So what's the upside here? That he plays 2 games and throws 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, and why risk an injury for that? Well, what is the point? It doesn't help him for next year at all.
Okay, so there is something about, first of all, getting back on the field and getting a little of this actual game speed stuff with his receivers. No matter if he comes back this year or does not, they go into next year as a Super Bowl contender. Not if he plays this year, because that says to me he's always going to choose himself over the team. There's no way you win with that formula. Wait a minute. So if he comes back and plays the final game of the season and he and Garrett Wilson connect on 2 touchdowns or something, you think that is even worse than them going into the offseason with positive momentum?
Everything everyone said about him in Green Bay is 100% true. If he actually steps on the field, that Aaron Rodgers wants to prove that Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thing ever, and he does not care if the team wins. All the Green Bay people were mad when he didn't show up to work out with the young receivers, and they said he's all about Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't care about the team. And I didn't believe it, because I thought that he was so good that he didn't even need to this summer.
Right.
Now I think it's true, because if he steps out on that field, especially if he plays a home game on that crazy turf, then he is being selfish. He's trying to prove that he's smarter than medical science. He's not trying to help the Jets.
Okay, I don't think he's trying to prove that he's smarter than medical science. I think that he's trying to show that medical science has actually come a long way. Like, there were times when you couldn't come back from 2 Tommy John surgeries. That would be crazy to come back. Meanwhile, I watched Nathan Eovaldi win a World Series a couple months ago, and he had 2 Tommy Johns. Microfracture surgery used to be an absolute death knell for your career. Now guys come back from that and go on to Hall of Fame careers.
So what does any of that have to do with the New York Jets winning football games? Because Nathan Eovaldi was good in the playoffs.
Because I'm not saying that Rodgers is trying to defy science. I think that this is just the evolution of where we're going with sports science. It's not like he's out here, in the middle of nowhere doing his rehab like Rocky IV style in the, Russian hills. He's being monitored by the best doctors and physical therapists that we probably have in this country.
So he's Drago in this analogy.
Well, Drago was cutting corners and cheating. I'm not accusing Rodgers of anything.
Got it. Drago in the sense that scientists were monitoring every move he made.
I think Rodgers is purely plant-based, but I think that it's not like he's, wrapping his foot up in tinfoil and going out there. Dr. Neil Elitrosh, who's like a Dr. James Andrews type of person, sort of celebrity sports orthopedic doctor, is not going to risk his reputation and is not going to, tell Aaron Rodgers, hey, go out there just so you can get, decimated? Yeah. And you're going to get totally crunched, and now you're going to take 2 years to come back from an Achilles?
No medical professional has ever let an athlete come back too soon after an injury and got re-injured. That only happens, every week in the NFL.
Listen, everyone knows.
Kevin Durant came back from his quote-unquote high ankle sprain and 3 quarters in blew the whole thing out.
Okay, different sport, different body type, different everything. And you can't do the one-size-fits-all. Like, if Rodgers can do this, I just don't get why people are mad about it. Even not Jets fans. Like, Jets fans, all right, if you're worried he's going to get hurt and now you're going to have another season of Tim Boyle next year, you guys have stake in the game. I don't understand why non-Jets fans do care.
I'll tell you why I care, because I bought into the Jets this year, and I bought into the hype that Aaron Rodgers was going to fix this. If he does this, it says to me Aaron Rodgers is about Aaron Rodgers, not about the team. Can you imagine if this was Kansas City, and in week 1, Patrick Mahomes blew out his Achilles, and they were 4-7? Do you think they would let him out onto the field for the end of the season?
I think if he was on track to play, if he was doing this and the doctor said yes, I think you might see him out there, showing you that you could come back.
I would think 75% of the population of Kansas City would basically run onto the field to stop Mahomes from doing that, because he is the future of that franchise. Yeah. Why risk it in a meaningless game? In fact, why even play your great players if there's nothing at stake? Last year, they were going to shut down Aaron Rodgers as soon as the Packers were eliminated. I would shut down a healthy quarterback in this situation, let alone a guy who's 40 years old coming off an Achilles injury. This is insane.
Well, don't forget, I think Rodgers was going to sit last year if they had gotten mathematically eliminated, because Jordan Love was sitting behind him too. And I think they all kind of knew, hey, let's see what the young guy has behind him, because he was likely going to be moving.
And I think Rodgers was banged up, but regardless, the truth behind it was there's no reason to play your star quarterback and risk an injury if there's no playoffs at stake. And there's not going to be playoffs at stake here.
855-212-4CBS. EJ, do we have a poll result that we can update here?
Yes, we do. So we asked a question about Aaron Rodgers here. Let me just pull up real quick. So we asked, I got to pull up again. Sorry, I lost one. Here's is Aaron Rodgers being selfish or selfless for trying to come back and play this season? So 61% say he's being selfish. 38% say he's being selfless. So the folks not loving Aaron Rodgers trying to come back and show that he's for the team in this manner. Also, also on the show, we asked, do you agree with Tom Brady that NFL coaching was better 20 years ago than it is now? He talked about how coaching is basically, babysitting these quarterbacks too much. The 65% say yes, coaching 20 years ago was better. 34% say no.
Interesting. Okay, so let's stay with the Rodgers one for a second, then we'll get to coaching. Here's my question to you. Do this thought experiment. Say Rodgers doesn't ever do McAfee show. Say you know nothing about the Joe Rogan and the other things he said about vaccine, whatever, all that stuff. And you take away all the, whatever posturing you think Rodgers has done. Do you see this differently? Can you divorce yourself of the Rodgers, the other stuff with him? If he was just doing this, was Russell Wilson doing this, do you think anyone would be like, wow, what a selfish guy? They wouldn't. They'd be like, wow, this guy's really doing everything he possibly can to get on the field.
No. I think if it wasn't Aaron Rodgers, we would never be having the discussion. You think Russell Wilson would come back at 4-8 out for torn Achilles?
He
Why?
would freaking try.
I tell you, 31 other teams wouldn't even consider letting their franchise quarterback back on that field. Except the 32nd team is the Jets, and that's because they're run by Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that is true.
Who just has this sort of... I like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's really entertaining. He seems very personable, but there seems to be an ego here that is driving this whole thing because obviously the team priority should be to sit him.
So we've got that for you. You're welcome to go vote at Maggie and Pearl. Whether Rodgers is being selfish or selfless, you can also call us 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay. We also have the Tom Brady comments about coaching, where he said coaching 20 years ago is better than coaching today, something you vehemently disagree with.
I totally disagree. I mean, look at the schlubs that were coaching against him and Bill Belichick back then. It was basically like this old boys network of guys who ran the ball on first and second down every play, never went for it on fourth down, never heard of an RPO, definitely didn't do the tush push. Their defensive schemes
that's the change.
Their defensive schemes were arcane. I think that modern coaches would run circles around them.
Okay, I think that it's the coaches today, I think, look better and look smarter. Yes, they have institutional knowledge of all the years from long ago, and they can build off of that. However, it looks better because the rules are different. When you can throw over the middle, just like the quarterbacks now today, their stats seem more empty to me now. Everyone can throw for 4,000 yards or 5,000 if you really wanted to, because you don't have to strategize against great defensive players being super physical like you did even in the early 2000s.
Right, but I mean, listen, the other team can do the same thing, so you still have to up your strategy. So it's always a chess game. And what did Brady say? It's checkers now. It used to be chess.
Yeah, we can hear that.
What is chess? The opposite. Chess is, okay, here's my defensive game plan. You're going to hand the ball off, and I'm going to have Ray Lewis knock the snot out of your running back and put him into the hospital. What kind of coaching is it? What kind of chess is that?
This was Brady talking on the Let's Go podcast on the pro game reflecting the college game now.
The pro game is reflecting more of what the college game is, as opposed to the college game reflecting what the pro game is. We're asking now pro players to play college football. And that's the biggest difference I see. This is way more checkers now than it is chess.
That is not saying the game is evolving. That's not him saying the coaching's getting better. That's saying it's getting dumbed down.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. He sounds like old man, get off my roof kind of guy, or get off my lawn kind of guy. Yeah, I mean, Mike Leach always said this. Well, he's like, I don't understand why the NFL is running such an old school offense. Even Mike Leach, who recently passed, he was always mystified. He's like, I just don't understand why they're not running spread concepts. It's so much easier to move the ball. So I think this is a better thing for the sport. It's made the sport more entertaining. It's definitely more effective. Now, back then, and I mean, go back then, this is ridiculous. It's 2018. He won a Super Bowl 13-3. That was a chess match? That felt like checkers to me compared to 38-35 last year with the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Here's another one from Brady, Ryan. Can we hear cut 2, where he's talking about teaching quarterbacks and the fact that we're firing coaches so fast is hurting the quarterback position.
You've got to teach the quarterbacks that. You got to educate them. You got to develop them. But it's hard, like I said, because we're firing people every 5 minutes, offensive coordinators, play callers. Let's promote that guy. Let's call the GA up and let him, call some plays. I mean, this is just the reality of the way the sport is, because there's so much pressure to get it right. And in an effort to get it right, people are actually making it more wrong.
And, you're seeing in this day and age right now, we are much quicker. The NFL is much quicker, and the NBA, quite frankly, but the NFL, let's keep it there, to move on from not only coaches, but also quarterbacks. Like if Bryce Young doesn't have a good year next year, I think this is going to be tough for him. Kenny Pickett, we're talking about him year 2. Why didn't he take this massive leap forward? Basically Zach Wilson's career is over. A lot of these guys, it is given up on them so quickly. Maybe they're just not good enough. It's possible. There were busts back then. There'll be busts today. But it's also true that you're asking guys to learn a different language every single time, and no one has patience to develop the quarterbacks.
I mean,
that's true.
I think it's quite obvious the quarterbacks are way better now than when Brady came into the league.
They're better athletes now.
They're better passers. They can make throws that they couldn't even think about 20 years ago. The guys Brady was going against were, Rich Gannon was the MVP of this league. You think he could play today? I think there's so many good quarterbacks coming in the league. There's so many elite quarterbacks right now like we've never had. I never understood this. There aren't enough good quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are statistically way better than ever.
Okay, but they can make those throws also because there's no threat at this point that their wide receiver is going to end up in traction because they throw over the middle. Like, you look a lot better, I think, when you don't have the threat of that middle linebacker.
I think their throws, for example, Trevor Lawrence will hit a guy 35 yards down the sideline. I don't remember a quarterback. Maybe Favre was it. Nobody could make that throw 30 years ago. Now there's Herbert, Josh Allen, even Dak can make some big throws. There are guys who make huge
Lamar.
throws.
I mean, the
there's
athlete
big
part
arms
of this.
all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not just the when you say athlete, I think you mean kind of running.
I mean everything. Like, even Rodgers is a great athlete,
The coach, there's just so much more. It's just unfair. And this is the exact opposite of what we're saying. Guys are coming up passing the ball in middle school, high school, college. Quarterbacks and receivers are so much more advanced coming into the NFL because they've been throwing for 7 years. College football back in the day, they basically ran a T formation. They never threw anything, and they got the NFL. I just think it's just a weird argument that players are worse now because, yes, on Monday night, Chicago and Minnesota, that was not good. But the starting quarterbacks are great. These guys are awesome. And there's some good guys on the bench. Jacoby Brissett is on the bench. Can't even start in the NFL. Can you imagine him in 1992? He would have been like, oh, my God, we got to get this guy out on the field.
I have a question for you, Perloff, though, because I think Tom Brady makes some good points here. And I think you make good points about the abilities of these quarterbacks. But if the quarterback play is so good, why is offense down? Why is scoring down? Why is offense so ineffective?
Because I think everyone knows what happened here. The defense has made a huge adjustment in the last 2 years where they said, we are going to prevent you from getting big plays, so you have to matriculate slowly down the field. Now, the offenses are having trouble catching up with that. Would you agree with that, Meg?
I think that was the thing that Lou Anarumo or whoever it was kind of gave a blueprint, like, hey, here's how you stop Mahomes. And it's like, well, if we do this, we can do it with Josh Allen.
And they certainly did it with Josh Allen. That's the number one team that they did it to.
Right. And it was effective. Very, extremely, very effective.
Yeah, so I watch. It's funny you say that because my Eagles are great this year. Jalen Hurts is playing awesome. But the Jets said, you know what? We're going to let you have a 20-play drive that we're going to give you first downs, but we're going to get really tough around the end zone. Eventually, you'll make a mistake.
It's like the bend, don't break thing.
Yeah.
You in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. So Pine Needle says all the old quarterbacks could make those throws, but the rules were different and receivers would never get that far without getting their head torn off. I mean, I think that it's a good point. It goes against the rules. Not only could receivers couldn't get off the line of scrimmage, the rules were different back then.
Back
then, 20 years ago.
I feel like receivers are so much better now because they have so much more experience. There's so much more passing at the lower levels of the game. Receivers coming in, and also gloves have made a gigantic difference. I don't know what year they came in 1995, but now nobody drops anything because the gloves are sick. So I understand what you're saying, but the sideline throws are definitely no one's getting killed when you throw it down the sideline. Think of a Trevor Lawrence pass in your mind. That is a very rare thing, and now there's a bunch of quarterbacks who can make those throws.
855-212-4227. So we got two questions out there for you. You're welcome to weigh in. Is Aaron Rodgers being selfish or selfless by rushing himself back from this Achilles injury? And secondly, is the coaching in the NFL better today or was it better 20 years ago? Tom Brady says 20 years ago when he got on the league. Perloff says today. So you're welcome to weigh in. 855-212-4CBS. Yes.
Can we admit this is ridiculous? Tom Brady knew one coaching staff. It was the New England Patriots. Yeah, of course he thought coaching was better.
Well, then he got Bruce Arians down in Tampa.
Yeah, well, he had a couple of years of Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles, then he left because he's like, this sucks.
And he turned 45. Tommy is in New Orleans, wants to weigh in on Tom Brady's comments. Good morning, Tommy.
Hey, good morning, guys. Along Brady's comments, it seems like more often than not, if a team gets in a third and long or a second long, they almost all have a play in the playbook now. When they just launch the ball down the field and hope for a PI.
So true.
Which more often
it's a good play.
They get.
It's a good play. It's a good strategy.
So to Brady's point, I think, it's worse now because the strategy has been taken out of it. You just launch it, and if you don't get it, okay, no big deal. You just run another play. And my other question was how, and Brady said, offensive players need to learn to protect themselves. Why isn't it when the running back is running through the hole and he leads with his head and puts his head down, why is that not targeting?
You're right. It should be.
And
No,
by
they
the way,
they tried to
Rodgers
enact
comes
that rule. Remember, the NFL made a big deal out of that, and then they never catch it in real time.
If you watch some of those collisions, those are violent, man, violent. And by the way, if Aaron Rodgers comes back this year, it's be the last football thing he'll ever do in his life. Period.
Tommy, solid call, but how do you know that? You know, you
Because
just don't know because you're.
Yeah.
But
Because we've seen the Jets for 50 years, and we know how that works out.
Take that out of it. He gets cleared by a doctor if he feels like he can protect himself. We don't know that he's going to re-injure himself this year.
You know why I'm disappointed in your buying into Tom Brady's hype?
Oh, because I loathed him for years?
Nope, not that.
As a player, because he used to beat my team all the
He's
time.
clearly doing the Michael Jordan putting out a documentary when LeBron wins the title. He's trying to defend his legacy from Patrick Mahomes coming up. So he's saying when I played, it was tougher. So what Mahomes is doing, this is all about Tom Brady being number one. And since you appreciate LeBron versus Jordan, you should appreciate Mahomes versus Brady and not fall into that trap that Tom Brady's setting.
He's doing it, but the thing where it doesn't hold up with Brady is Brady's 7th Super Bowl was 3 years ago. Like if he discredits, and that's what Alex Smith was, called him on.
Yeah.
Him discrediting this era discredits. When do you want to start this era? Potentially 2 of his Super Bowls and 3 of his appearances in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he's like kind of denigrating his own legacy.
I know. That's a weird part about it. But I think he's setting up that argument for years to come because Mahomes is about to go on a gigantic run.
Mahomes is the only one who could catch him.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Mahomes is a way more talented quarterback in a traditional sense of talent, arm talent, being able to move around. Mahomes does things that Brady can never do. Brady's maybe the better quarterback, but when you get the talent, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes are so much more talented. Aaron Rodgers can make throws that nobody can make. So what about that? Explain that to me, Maggie.
Yeah, I can't because if you want to do greatest versus best or something like that, if you want to parse the words, then yeah, you could probably say Rodgers is the better quarterback, but Brady is the greatest of all time. Yeah, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, lots to do here, including our show announcement. You're going to want to be paying attention to that. Got a big thing coming up this weekend, so we'll get to that in just a moment. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone's free battery testing and charging is available for free at your local AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Wait, we need to set some rules here. We need some order in this chaos that is the Maggie and Perloff show. Are we dressing up tomorrow or what, Maggie? What the heck is going on here?
Tomorrow we will pay off the show bet that is now being mandated by our boss because I thought the bet was null and void. Your Philadelphia Eagles against my Buffalo Bills. It was a push. Your Eagles won by 3 points, so I thought the bet was off. Then Spike Eskin comes in, and not only do I have to do the bet, but now you have to do the bet, Perloff, and EJ also has to do the bet. Bogish, somehow you were spared. Bilotti was spared because he saved me from cursing on the air twice. So thank you, sir.
Well, what would I do to have deserved a punishment tomorrow?
Well, what did EJ do to deserve it? I mean,
You're in the
nothing
building.
really. You sit here with us, so apparently that means you're part of it. But I think you get spared. So we got to dress up. The only thing I'm missing is face paint. I couldn't find it yesterday at Walmart.
Well, you better find it, because if you don't face paint, what kind of fan are you?
Exactly.
Like Putty and Seinfeld. So the other thing, too, I'm going to demand
Gotta
certain
support
things.
the team.
You're going to have to sing the entire song of Fly, Eagles Fly,
Okay.
and do the EAGLS where you contort your body into letters.
Okay, and you're going to have to sing the Bills version of Shout. And
Okay.
I want all the words. Not
Oh,
just
God.
Dr. J, everybody.
Shout.
No.
Shout.
Lyrics.
Like
you gotta
Animal
go home.
House.
Your daughters, who are performers,
Yeah.
especially your younger daughter, she's got to teach you, like, you got to rehearse.
Shout. Nobody understands the word to the song Shout.
You got to understand.
Get on
the
that
other thing is,
rapgenius.com, baby.
Yeah.
and you, of course, and I don't even need to force you, you will reenact the scene from Rocky 2 where Adrian tells Rocky to just win, right?
Where am I finding a hospital bed? How am I reenacting this thing?
What do you mean, how are you not reenacting it? It's just, there's no better way to get inspired than to say, Rocky, come closer.
I think you want to be Adrian. not me.
What? Win. What are we waiting for?
I think you just did it. I'm not going to be able to do it any better. And I need you to profess your undying love for Peerless Price.
Okay. If we want to get real Eagles fans, I'm going to need you to get drunk and punch somebody.
That's post-show.
Pete?
That's a regular Friday around here. Okay, so tomorrow, Friday, we're dressing up as, I'll be the Eagles fan, Perloff will be the Bills fan. EJ's has to be a Pats fan just because Spike is punishing you.
Wait, what should we make EJ do? If we have to do something crazy, what the Patriots,
We have to write a script.
Perloff is holding like a fake rifle. So if it's me in New York City's going to walk around with a rifle and bring it in and say, "Oh no, please trust me, it's fake."
Yeah.
Well, those guys have the muskets on the sideline.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
Whatever happened to EJ?
I think you need to do at least one segment, several segments with a thick Boston accent.
Oh,
Boston potty.
Park the car.
I mean, we were talking about it off air. That is the hardest accent I think to do.
What?
Unless you're Sully, our friend from Boston.
Yeah, we'll have Sully call in and teach you. You just turn AR into AH.
I know, but all I can think about is party, and I still feel like I sound more like a British person when I say it.
You do sound British.
This is your.
But I'm trying to do Boston. Party. Potty? Is that better?
Yeah.
It's like you're saying potty, like potty mouth.
I'm going to the park.
I'm going to the potty.
Say Harvard Yard with a Boston accent.
Harvard Yard?
Oh gosh, EJ,
It's
just
terrible.
dreadful.
I know it's terrible.
Worse than Jack Nicholson in The Departed or The Departed. And he's like the great actor of our time.
Listen, EJ, this is my job on the show to have the worst accents imaginable,
please
but
don't
you
get
are
Perloff
challenging me.
This one is amazing.
Sipping
tea.
I can't even come up with sentences.
Say clam chowder.
Clam chowder.
Oh
so
my God.
bad.
Chowder.
What
Clam chowder, my good sir.
Look, I'm through and through New York City, okay? Like, even getting me to do this is already, I think it's against my health. I think I'm going to have to go to the doctor and be like, hey, something's wrong. My heart pressure feels a little high.
Yeah.
And they're going to be, oh, because you're doing too much Boston.
I got Bostonitis.
Yeah.
What if you do a British accent? Maybe that'll sound Boston.
Say Spice Girls. Spice Girls.
Spice Girls.
So bad.
What was that?
It's like you're broken.
Someone unplug EJ
Have
and
you
plug
guys
him
watched
back
the
in.
episode of SpongeBob where there's like literally like people, there's flames going around, people are running around in his brain? That's me right now trying to do these accents.
Did
Like,
you do a Southern accent?
all right.
Better.
All right.
That's
I got family in the
McConaughey
South. I can
in
probably do
Dazed
that a little
and
better. Yeah.
Was that even Southern?
Yeah, that movie takes place in Texas, doesn't it?
Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Texas is not the South. That's Texas.
Are you serious? Texas?
Wait, you guys know that, right?
I know that there's some lines here with Louisiana being its own thing
Texas has its own accent.
and Texas being its own thing.
Yeah, it's Cowboys. The South is slow it down.
Yeah, I actually think low-key one of the thickest accents you can have in the South are people from North Carolina. There's some very thick accents in
I was
North
actually
Carolina.
thinking South Carolina, but
South
the Carolinas,
right.
yeah.
More
I
than
agree.
even like Alabama and Mississippi.
Yeah, I've met my cousins from South Carolina, my dad's cousins, and I remember one time we were just driving on a road, and he somehow his cousin knew he was around, so he's pulled over at that side of a highway. It was very country, and a cousin came over and he started talking to us, and I swear I don't know any words he said. And my dad, who grew up in New York City, understood everything, and I was like, "How did you know this?" I guess
Sometimes you can understand.
Yeah,
you can't speak it.
he's been around enough that he knew, but I was just like, this is an accent I never heard before.
Wait, EJ, can you do a California voice like the Californians on Saturday Night Live?
Gotta take the 101 to the like the Valley Girl.
Valley Girl.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to
Take
think of
the
like a
101
clue
to the 405.
It's the freeway. Rolling with the homies.
Oh yeah, that's good from Clueless. Oh man! Although you just did the accent of the one character who was from New York.
I know, I did, didn't I? Yeah, Brittany Murphy,
That's all
R.I.P.
right. We're not going to get too much. Well, you got 24 hours, EJ. You might want to work on that Boston accent.
I'll get on it.
Sully will call you and give you some tips. Andrew Bogish is here with headlines. Top of the morning.
And I guess I'll take a shot at myself for a change. I do remember Tyreek Hill scoring a touchdown, grabbing a dude's phone behind the end zone and doing a backflip, but I knew nothing else about that moment until yesterday. The guy who gave his phone to Hill is 20-year-old University of Miami student Kevin Fitzgibbons. He's a content creator, was working for the NFL that day, and has a pre-existing relationship with Tyreek. Fitzgibbons just shared an emotional video on social media explaining that he lost his NFL credential for this.
It was the coolest moment ever. And I ran in the tunnel to send the clip to the NFL. Tyreek got a penalty for the celebration and was immediately asked about it after the game.
You know, I seen the camera, and I just took it from him. And he didn't want me to take it from him, so that's my boy K-Fizz, man.
The NFL then let me know that I would be suspended for the remainder of the season and possibly for good. They said regardless if I knew the celebration was coming or not, I still had to be disciplined and that I shouldn't have jumped on the sidelines after the play.
The music's a good touch. So
also, he's reading it like it's,
not his story?
Or like it's like a young kid
It's
standing up in front of the crowd.
It's very fifth grade book report.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
again,
I was looking
he's
for.
a 20-year-old college student, so he's actually closer to that than anything else.
Actually, good point. He's not far removed from fifth grade.
And if his story is correct, he's in trouble for being excited as a media member
Cheering.
on the sideline of an NFL game.
Wait,
so
what's-
not for giving him the phone.
No.
Right. I was surprised by that. So the NFL doesn't want you to cheer. He doesn't work for the Dolphins. He works for the league.
He worked for the league that day, yes.
That day, yes.
To create videos, and created, because he happened to be there and the touchdown was scored in front of him, a ridiculous moment.
Okay, so here's a question. See, they don't want people cheering on the sidelines if they're working for the NFL, which
Right.
I get. There's always a thing, no cheering in the press box. But
Yeah.
you're going to take away the homer,
But also, too, he obviously works for the Dolphins. He has a relationship with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and other players, too.
K-Fizz.
Of course, it's your boy.
His guy.
K-Fizz.
No, the NFL is so hypocritical. I mean, that was a viral video that I'm sure the NFL used, their media partners used, and yet the person that produced that moment now is basically banned from the NFL for the rest of the year, maybe for the rest of his life, because he jumped up and down. Look, that's garbage.
Oh, they did this earlier this season with Josh Allen, who ran for a touchdown and pointed at the defender. He got fined like $10,000 for that, but the NFL was using it in their tweets to promote the game.
Yeah.
I know. They are so hypocritical. This is insane.
They used to do it with like illegal hits, NHL too, which like sell checks, shots of checks that guys got suspended for.
Oh, yeah. They would show a safety blowing up a wide receiver in commercials all the time until the lawsuit came up. Finally, they smartened up on that one.
But this dude apparently not really mad at the NFL.
I get why the NFL had to make this decision and wish I could have done something to prevent it, but I'm thankful for the memory that Tyreek gave me. This was the greatest job in the world, and I never took a day for granted. I can't thank the NFL enough for the opportunity. Whether it's back with the NFL or starting a new sport, I just hope to get another chance at doing what I love.
By Kevin Fitzgibbons.
I'm going to be honest. This sounds really cheesy, but if I was that kid's mom, I'd be like, good job, honey. This is good.
Nah.
Take the high road. I love the music choices, and you're going to go far.
Yeah, he's obviously lining up his next job. We all see what's going on. That was a job
Smart.
interview. Yeah,
Content creator.
Heck, we should maybe reach out to this kid. Do some videos for us. I mean, none of us can do a flip like
Shots
Tyreek
at
Hill.
Cap today.
We got Cap. We're good here.
That's true.
Yeah, but
And I'm the mean one.
Yeah, but I mean, Cap might get suspended for he might film Maggie cursing out a storm. And I mean, listen, we're all on a thin line with Maggie's language on this show.
Maggie
You never
posted
know.
a video on social that basically took a surgery for myself and Kaplan to figure out how to get it on without her being thrown off of the station.
I appreciated that too.
It's a daily battle. We all know that.
And me versus X-rated language. Listen, I'm living the battle, guys.
Are you paying attention, Ryan? Just in case? Okay.
Hover over that.
Can I just
dump
make it
button.
clear, just because I want to hire K-Fizz doesn't mean that's not a dig on Andrew Kaplan. I say the more talent. I mean, K-Fizz is our guy.
And by the way, in the chat, Kaplan says, always good to have a backup.
What a team player.
So he's already, he's a digital 2. Cap is digital 1, like QB1. Then K-Fibs could be digital 2.
Have him on retainer.
This guy, by the way, he's 20 years old. He's clearly an intern. I don't even know what he's talking.
I mean, if you think about it, K-Fibs and Cap, that's like an Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson kind of deal. I mean, Zach, he kind of got thrown out of his last job for, doing too much.
Yeah.
We already got Cap here. Cap kind of looks a little bit like Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers had the long hair and the beard. Like, maybe that's all that this
Cap
kid
definitely
needs.
does drugs.
Maybe all this kid needs is just a year under Cap, to show him, hey, maybe don't give your phone to NFL stars and you could do something in this business.
Cap went to Colorado. He might even swing. We don't even know. Right, Pete?
I know.
Colorado and a Miami guy, I mean, what could go wrong?
I mean, Cap, he's got to be into weed, Russell Wilson and all that.
Exactly. All that.
That's, as Pete would say. Just put a fist up in the air.
Could K-Fizz ride with you to San Antonio and document your trip?
No.
Okay, good.
Perloff would drop him off somewhere near
Bogus, you took
Harrisburg.
that so personally. I'm sorry.
How else would I take it? I said, I'd love to go with you. I'm down. You said, no, thank you.
Yeah, you said no. And you said because I've got people I've got to see. Like Bogusch can't be in polite company.
I don't know. I just feel like
Bogusch
we'll run
isn't
out
good
of things to talk about in about 19 minutes and we'll 27 hours and 41 minutes to kill.
Disagree. I have a million questions for you. Tortoises, Adam Sandler, your basketball game, a lot.
Wow, now he's trying to get back in. I didn't know you were going to ask me about my basketball game. Let's
I think
go.
it'd be funny if like Perloff shows up at one of his friends' houses and it's like ding dong. It's like, oh my God, Perloff, you're here. And then Bogusch just sneaks out from the side like, I'm also here.
No, I'm in the car.
Can I use your
a dog.
It's going to be so great to catch up. Andrew, I can't wait to relive the glory days. Hey, who's that dude? Who's that guy with you?
I don't mind him.
This is Andrew too.
Yeah, Bogusch just walks right in, grabs a six-pack out of the fridge, sits on the couch, and turns on the TV.
If it was Denver, he'd probably be sleeping with your wife.
Yeah.
And it'd be allowed.
Well, I think Denver's past San Antonio, so we won't have any swinging on this trip.
I can see you guys making a pit stop.
That's a big left turn. Swinging by Denver after San Antonio. Thursday Night Football has the Cowboys hosting the Seahawks. Seattle running back Kenneth Walker is doubtful, in danger of missing his second straight with an oblique injury. Perloff loves Zion. Zion loves the Pelicans.
I don't think we have a ceiling. I say it all the time. We just need to become elite with the small nuances of the game.
It feels like they have a ceiling, just from a distance.
That's some objective analysis right there.
Yeah. They did beat the Sixers last night, 124-114, but Joel Embiid didn't play. He was sick. Zion had 33.
Sick, huh?
That's what they said.
Yeah.
Sick and illness.
Okay.
Tired. He had only 11 of 12 shots for those 33 points. It's a 15-game losing streak for the Pistons, a 133-107 home loss to the Lakers. The Suns' 7-game win streak ending in Toronto, 112-105. And it was not.
How long is Monty Williams' contract for? Like 10 years,
ever.
right?
Yeah, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was like 100. Not 100. I'm making that up.
I was told in the offseason that Cade Cunningham was good now. What happened there?
So I think Cade Cunningham is good. They're good at scoring. They literally cannot play defense.
Okay.
They just get straight outscored most nights.
That's bad. You don't want to do that. The analytics show when you get outscored, it's hard to win.
6 years, $78.5 million. Could go up to 8 years with $100 million with incentives. Something tells me they're not going to reach those this season.
It was not a good night for ranked men's college basketball teams.
Duke's going to throw it in. Foster goes at the length of the court. Pass is deflected. Blocker picks it up. 2 seconds, 1 second. It is over. It is over. Arkansas wins it. Here they come. Here they come.
A court storming in Arkansas. Over 20,000 people watched the Razorbacks take down number 7 Duke, 80-75. Number 14 Virginia Tech, Texas A&M rather, losing at Virginia, 59-47. I can type. And number 18 Villanova took a 78-65 home loss from St. Joe's. And Angel Reese will be back with LSU tonight against 9th-ranked Virginia Tech. We still don't know why she missed their last 4 games.
Yeah.
Guys, back to you.
I heard Kim Mulkey. She's like, she's happy. We're happy. It's like, no kidding. But what happened? What's been going on for the last month?
Yeah, and went back to the locker room.
It's sacred.
Yeah, we don't even let parents in here, so you're not coming in to learn our secrets.
Listen, I mean, I get that. It doesn't seem like it was anything where the public necessarily needs to know about this. Like, this is the difference, I think, between yesterday we were talking about when a general manager like the Chicago Blackhawks dealing with a player who's suspended, and it's like, I'm going to address the rumors that all that's fake. Or none of that's true, but I'm not going to tell you what's real. Therefore, increasing the speculation. I think Kim Mulkey, who I don't usually praise at all for a lot of things that she does, but I think she might be right about this. It doesn't seem like anything nefarious. Keep it in the locker room.
Well, I think one thing, this is going to add interest to the sport. Scandal is good for interest. I mean, Michigan has made college football more interesting. The women's Final Four, the women's tournament, I think it's going to be more interesting than the men's tournament coming in. We know these players. We know Angel Reese. We know Caitlin Clark.
Right.
We need them to meet again,
the
though.
churn is so fast. Even if they don't meet, aren't you going to want to watch LSU in this year's tournament?
Oh, definitely. And I want to watch Iowa, too, and I want to watch South Carolina, and I want to watch all the good women's teams. But I love the fact, like, this could be an Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark could be, if they get to meet again, I think, somehow in the NCAA tournament. It doesn't have to be the final, but just in the tournament. If they go to the WNBA, this could be like a Magic Bird kind of thing.
Yeah, but is Angel Reese good enough? Is she the second best player in the country though? That's what. And the LSU's not even the top team anymore. I was surprised by that. I thought they were a powerhouse, but I guess things move fast. South Carolina and Dawn Staley still.
Yeah, no,
Philly.
they're amazing.
That's Philly's team. I just want to point that out. Dawn Staley is the most Philadelphia.
gosh.
She's an Eagles fan. Don't do that, EJ. You know, any team with Dawn Staley as a head coach is a Philadelphia team.
Dawn Staley is as Philly as it comes, but claiming South Carolina as Philly's basketball team, I mean,
Just like Ohio State and Marvin Harrison Jr.
I don't think there's a city that cares more about college basketball than Philadelphia. You're going to South Carolina.
I know. St. Joe's just beat Villanova for the first time in 12 years.
There is a weird thing in Philadelphia. Dawn Staley is basketball royalty
She's
in Philadelphia.
amazing.
She really, for some reason, she just became much more famous than anybody else. So, okay, fine. That's a stretch, but I need somebody to root for here.
We'll see you guys on the phones. Get to you in just a moment. Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, oh man, the one thing you have not heard today, we will play it for you next. It's a must listen. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
What? Come here.
Eat the chili. No hands.
What are we waiting for? Take it!
2 minutes remaining.
Top 10 moments from Andrew Perloff's Skyline Chili Bet Payoff. Number 10.
With the cheese, he is very delicately breaking the film.
Number 9.
There is juice cascading off his nose. Good.
Number 8.
All the way in. Oh, we have spaghetti. He has found the pasta.
Number 7.
Big bite. Oh, that's a lot of pasta.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Number 6. Number 5. Number 4.
That was a full open mouth hunk of pasta.
Number 3. Number 2. And the number 1 moment from Andrew Perloff's Skyline Chili Bet Payoff.
1 minute remaining.
Top
thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
Eat the chili. No hands.
What are we
45 seconds remaining.
Take
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. You know, it feels like we've been doing this show for a long time, but we really haven't. We've only all been together for like 2 months, maybe, right? If that. We're finding new things out about each other every day. And today we found out that EJ cannot do an accent other than himself. You can't do British.
Yeah.
You can't do...
No socks.
What?
Not
the hell is
Boston.
that?
And tomorrow, EJ has to dress up like a Patriots fan. I will be dressed as an Eagles fan. Perloff will be dressed as a Bills fan. We are all paying off a bet that I lost. So everyone's getting it tomorrow. But I lost a bet with my Bills against your Eagles. I tried to get out of the bet, and we all got punished for it.
What's a Buffalo accent? What's a Western New York accent?
Fired.
Fired.
I'm so tired right now. It's kind of like a little Midwest, like long A's, a little Chicago, a little Minnesota, Canada, that kind of thing. Maggie is what people call me.
Maggie, I'm going to jump through the table.
We're circling it. Nadal is in Dallas. Hey, Nadal, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I didn't sleep in today.
Look at you, up and at 'em.
Yeah, I'm trying. Hey, so my wife is originally from Boston. We got married. She moved to Kansas City, which was a huge culture shock. Yeah. But how I know when I'm not in her good graces is when that Boston accent comes out.
There you go.
So, hey, are you not going to say something? Get in your car and get out of here. I'm like, oh, God, I don't know what the hell you just said. I'm going to have to decipher those ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics right there, and then we'll circle back, okay? We'll just kind of come back to it.
I love it. It's when she's mad at you, or probably, I don't know if she drinks or not, but after a couple glasses of wine, I bet it comes out too.
It comes out, yes. It always manages to find a way after, we've been married since 2006. So, yeah, it always finds a way. Now, as far as Southern accents, I'll give you a quick example. In a previous work life, and in my college days at the University of Kansas, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, baby, I worked at Vanguard Airlines, which went bankrupt.
Yeah.
But it was great. I flew for free. It was amazing. And I was a reservation agent, dealt with all kinds of issues. But anyway, I got a lot of calls from Georgia. And I got to tell you, these people, at the end of every sentence was, thank you, And at first I laughed, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, man, these guys they're being genuine. They're saying that from the heart. And then I started to appreciate it. I'm like, wow. But, yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
It's like a
all these
Southern
different
charm
accents
thing
and
that
dialects.
happens. Yeah, Nadal, thank you. Sorry, we're up against it, but thank you for that. I love the story that your wife's Boston accent comes out only when she's mad at you.
EJ, can you do a New York accent, like Tommy DeVito, New York, Sopranos kind of accent?
I don't know. I feel that's just how I talk. So I've been told, when I say water or tournament, those are the words that usually the New York really comes out.
But
apparently it's supposed to be water.
But the Tommy DeVito is also an Italian New York thing. Like everyone's saying,
so it's hey, yo, kiss
yeah, yo, give me the gabagool, that kind of thing.
Jeez, guys, it's a...
No, I know that because
stereotypes here.
But there's a trending video of Tommy DeVito scoring a touchdown and asking for gabagool. That's why I say
Italian. Let's get to our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. Today's shot of the day is when we found out Andrew Bogusch, mean guy.
Nobody has more discretionary cash than Pete Bellotti.
Discretionary cash?
Wait, you're going to get him robbed.
Ryan Bottcher's going to stand there for 4 hours and get paid to listen to Pete go, you have to dump these 3 words,
Yes.
and this button turns on their microphone.
Does Andrew Bogusch have any friends in this building? Because it feels like you kind of go after everybody.
Yeah.
So Maggie curses on air, and it's in the Boomer and Geo studio within 5 minutes.
There's a machine here. I know how this works.
Yeah, now you're going after Bellotti. You go after me because of this Wembanyama bet.
No. You started that. I was prepared to be your friend. I was going to drive to Texas with you, and you said, no, thank you.
That is true. Gotta say, Perloff, I think you're in the wrong. The relationship didn't get off on the right foot because Bogusch was like, I'll drive with you to San Antonio. And you're like, I'm good. I'd rather be alone.
You guys understand that, though, right?
No, I'd rather have company on my trip.
Not me.
You just want the silence?
It's a lot of small talk. It's 28 hours of it, to be honest.
At the end, it's a friendship.
You also realize that Perloff, you and Bogusch are professional talkers. Like if anybody can do it for 20 hours, it should be you guys.
But professional talkers often just shut up after the show because they're talked out.
I know.
You're driving to San Antonio. You won't be talking to us for a long time.
It's going to be somewhere around Tennessee, and he's going to be like, and in the latest score, Fordham beat St. Bonaventure's 82-81. I'm like, dude, that's enough updates. I don't care what happened in some meaningless lower division college basketball game.
Amazing. Bogusch doing an update the whole time. Thank you to EJ Stewart. Thank you to Ryan Bottcher. Did I say it correctly? You did a great job. Pete Bellotti, fantastic job training Ryan. Thank you to Andrew Kaplan, always our number one. Thank you to Andrew Bogusch, maybe the meanest guy on the show.
Yeah. Fizz, you're our guy, buddy. Hang in there.
Weedos.